Ah, yes. All right, we did it. Sorry about that, everybody, but welcome to Hash Church episode 116. I somehow opened a secondary box. I have no idea where the original chat went, so I couldn't find it, so I opened another one. So there's two of me in the room, and I have no idea how to get rid of the other one. Hopefully he'll just leave eventually. And if he doesn't, well, we'll just have to hang out with a couple of bubble men for the rest of the day. Oh, look at that. He's gone already. So welcome to the 110 people that are on the ball at 9 in the morning. Perhaps it's not 9 in the morning where you are, but nonetheless, I'm impressed. I'm going to reboot the YouTube chat. There we go. Got that. Everyone's in. And I'll send out the links to everyone that we like to send out on the daily. So I'm going to have to open up another page, though, because this is just hilarious how the technical difficulties of occurring at 8:59 is the classic. I've been sitting here for an hour. Everything's perfectly fine. And then I end up closing everything. So bear with me, everyone. You know, I like to have this stuff organized before I come into the room, so you don't have to. So I don't have to try and remember what to say to you while simultaneously inviting all my friends. But I should be able to do this easy enough, and I know you guys are awesomely patient with me, so I do appreciate that. Try to get everyone in here. Always trying to not forget someone. Send out the links to Mr. Indra. Send out the links to Mr. Chimera. And let's see who we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, it's quite easy to forget people when it's this last minute second. So I'll just invite these people and we'll see what happens. They're probably wondering already, what's going on with Bubble Man? Did he drop the ball today a little bit? 400 people in the room now. And that's 4 times what was there 1 minute ago. So I do welcome all of you. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. And there's Etienne. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
I'm going to go get my headphones because the second the next person comes in, my echo is going to start. So,
well, good morning, everybody. Just want to give a shout out to the Emerald Cup and those people I saw yesterday at the Emerald Cup, and I will see you today.
All right. Yes, might as well get this done right away before the echo starts coming in. I thought you might be at the Emerald Cup today, Etienne.
I will. It starts at noon. It started yesterday. Well, no, it starts at 11. So we stayed there till like 8 o'clock last night.
Nice.
And there's Todd.
Nice. Todd and Sam in the house. Welcome, gentlemen. Can you guys hear me? Ah, excellent.
I was trying to turn down my volume so it wouldn't be really loud.
I appreciate that.
Jamaica.
What's that? About Jamaica? I don't know. I think he's got some mute problems going on there. I am not hearing Mr. Todd.
I can hear you, Todd. No problem.
Really?
Yeah.
He's muted right now. How can you hear him?
When he was speaking, I could hear
him.
Yeah.
No, the second time I think he went to speak and his mic didn't unmute.
Correct.
But I could be wrong.
I didn't hear it the second time.
Sam, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm alive.
You're alive. You're alive. I just spoke with Tony. For those wondering, he is going to be coming into the chat from the Emerald Cup. I think he's got Soil Grown Sal, who's going to do a V2 Sasquatch Rosin press, and a bunch of other cool people. So we'll look forward to that.
Saw Soil Grown yesterday. He's out there squishing all day with everybody, and everyone's coming out and checking out and bringing out their stuff to get squished. He's got a machine out there squishing as we speak.
Nice. This squisher. Yeah, well, him and Tony are hooking up. I think they're making some flower rosin and doing a terp collaboration or something. So we'll see those guys in here later, but I suspect it won't be till around maybe 11 or so. So we've got some chilling to do before then.
I'm gonna split and go get Mel Frank too.
Oh, nice. How's Mel doing?
Doing good. We're looking forward to hanging out with him today. Todd, you went mute again.
$18,000. Wow. All right. Interesting.
Okay, my speech dictation was on, turning everything off. That makes great sense. Yes, we'll be at the event today. There were so many nice people there yesterday. Shout out to everybody that was so kind yesterday. So many people watched this show, and it's really nice. Their feedback is beautiful. And I got to hang out with John last night.
I was about to say, we met Indra yesterday, which was pretty cool.
Oh, shit. That's amazing, guys.
Yeah, Rob, Kenny, all of us. It was great.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's quite a cool cat. We hung out for a while. Kenny showed up from Trichome, and yeah, it was just people rolling around, and people would come up and say, "Hey, I don't recognize you guys with those little boxes around you on Sunday mornings."
That's hilarious. What a great Halloween costume we could wear, though, right? With the big, you just make the frame that you put around your head with all your friends' pictures at the bottom. You'd be like, "What's up? I'm the Hash Church panelist for Halloween." And there's Mr. Scaldone in the house. You're not at the Emerald Cup as well, are you, Mark? No. He's like, I'm over here on the other side of the country. Welcome, welcome. PK Brewer says he got his hands on Mel's book in 1981. That's pretty awesome.
For me, it was 1984, you know. So for me to be able to hang out with this guy now, it's like, you know, when I was a kid, he was just some fictional author in a faraway reality, and now he's just my friend.
Dude, I feel you, dude. Like the other day when my friend Amir, my friend from Turkey, came by with Rob, who was also flew in with him, and they gave me this just beautiful gift. I guess I introduced them, which I do constantly to everyone. I certainly don't expect gifts from it. But they've been working on projects for the last couple of years through this introduction, and they brought me this absolutely beautiful gift, probably one of the nicest nargils you can purchase in Istanbul. And I'll show it a little bit later on, because it's a big effing box, big, crazy, tall, you know, 3.5 footer, gold inlay all around it. But it was quite an honor to, I mean, obviously for my friend Amir, but also for Rob, someone that I also in the same way, you know, reading his books, looking up to him. And now he's like my buddy that comes to my house and offers me this beautiful gift. It was such an honor, and I just felt so humbled to be offered such a beautiful thing. Shout out to both of those guys.
And we were fortunate to hang out with Rob last night too, and they got to introduce Indra to Rob. So it was a very nice little social gathering, and he was telling us all about his travels, and he told us he was up there in Vancouver and saw you guys. So that was really cool to
we had a nice little session. I had it was the light and the dark session. I had the super dark bubble and the super light rosin. So that's what we were puffing on. And surprisingly, the taste on this is ridiculous. I just got some lighter hash the other day that they missed out on, but I'll sure take a terp dip right now. I can find my little dodger. Oh, there it is. My little dabber.
I was amazed with how much good rosin was there. We met this kid, this guy, Private Stock Veganics. His stuff was really great. I actually thought it was buttered BHO. It was so good.
Yeah, it's out there, you know. It's funny because I keep hearing, I've heard it since day one, where people say, "Oh, you know, rosin. It's got that sort of vaped weed, burnt popcorn taste," and I'm like, really? Because I have honestly, I don't think I've ever, maybe one time, you know,
you have.
A dark, nasty rosin. What I was like, oh yeah, that's nasty. But all the stuff I've made myself, all the stuff that I make daily, from any bud that I purchase, from any hash that I find, it fucking turns out killer.
Yeah, it's some of the stuff we were seeing is fantastic. The tech there is incredible. The extraction area is unbelievable. How much stuff people have been innovating to make the world a better place around cannabis. It's fantastic. And it also seems like the vibe around 64 has changed incredibly. Everybody's really happy that it's legal. It's ironic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I'm going to take a little dip in the Sunset Sherbet. Give thanks to Tony for this gift, because holy shit, I've been really enjoying it. Puffed a bunch of it with D420K yesterday while I was over at his place.
Hey, 18, was this the guys at the end of the night that we were with when we were with John, the Frankenstein Extracts guys?
Yeah, those
Frank.
sweet.
Frankenstein, yeah, they were really sweet. Really sweet. They were young kids, man, just getting into it, but doing really good.
Yeah. I love hearing that. Welcome, D420K, Speak of the Devil.
Yeah, with those guys, Todd, and then these guys, Smash Brothers, came up and gave me some amazing rosin as well. But those guys last night just kept pumping out rosin after rosin. And Bubbleman, you would have been impressed with what we were seeing. All in all, I mean, there's some amazing stuff coming out, and
I don't doubt it at all.
Well, everybody's working on temperatures, and that's one of the most impressive things that we saw. This is another one. This is the one we tried. We all were like amazed by. It's called Yeti.
Yeah, the night before, Yeti was freaking amazing.
Yeah, we were sampling on this, and this stuff is absolutely flavorful as Hades, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the temperature?
Mine looks like this.
Ooh, it looks
below.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks low the way it's butter.
Yeah,
they're squishing this one, and they was saying around 140. You know, so they're really lowering the temperatures, and the flavor and the scent is exponentially there still. So
how long are they squishing it for?
They didn't really say. It's just
that's huge. That'll be everything right there. How long it was at that temperature, because it must be It must be 3 minutes if they're actually trying to get their yield. I've had quite a bit of fun playing around with my Sasquatch rosin press and mucking around with temperatures. And the higher you go, the shorter you press, the more stable generally the rosin that you'll get, almost a shatter style rosin. And then you lower those temperatures, you raise the pressure, and you obviously have to, if you want to get your yields, that's what it's all about. If you go in at about 200 degrees, even 220 for like 10-15 seconds, you're going to get the majority of your yield out. However, if you go down to like 150 to 180, you're going to be pressing a lot longer to get those same amounts out of that flour for sure. Hash, not so much.
But the flavor is exponentially worth it. It's incredible.
You know, I would say to a degree, but it's interesting if you actually had that same oil pressed at 10 different temperatures, because that's what I did. I pressed 2 separate flavors. I pressed I think it was the 09 cookies, and then the other one was the Wi-Fi, the Teflon, which has Wi-Fi in it, Wi-Fi Alien OG. So I pressed them out at all different temperatures at all different times. And although I would say, yes, the lower temperature had a nicer flavor, I wouldn't say it was exponential. For those 2 cultivars alone, they tasted better, absolutely. But it wasn't like exponential. It wasn't like 20 times or 10 times. It was like a little bit better.
Well, there's a challenge for somebody to actually do that and test every single 10 degrees to see the difference.
Yeah. People are doing it.
Oh, good.
I want to say something. Sorry. I want to ask you, what was your favorite temperature and time for squishing, Mark, for the most stable product as well?
I prefer dipping stable product, not butter. Butter falls off my dabber. It doesn't stick as good. It makes a mess. I'll hit it all day long. I personally prefer a shattery rosin. That being said, rosin is a secondary for me. Rosin isn't what I puff to my head. 6-star bubble hash and 6-star full melt dry sift are so superior in every way, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because I'll smoke rosin for 2 weeks straight sometimes, and then suddenly get a little bit of hash, and the enjoyment level when I get I prefer good hash 100 times more than oil. I just don't get the same effect. I get ripped from oil. I get body high. I get the sweats. I get this wonderful feeling, but it's kind of like a 2 or 3 course meal compared to a 5 or a 6 course meal that hashish offers me. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's that fibrous mat that's left behind inside the hashish that gets filtered out in the oil. I really have no idea. I have my theories, but man, do I prefer bubble hash and dry sift full melt over the oil. Just personal preference. I'm sure there's many people even in this room that would say I prefer oil over hash.
Well, I mean, we've all like pressed out our hash and our dry sift, and I prefer to smoke my sift than I do the rosin, the sift, to be honest.
Well, rosin's a good one because you can see it in everyone's face. The majority of people are smoking it because they can't get hash that's nice, that's as nice. You know,
Is it melted?
they're squishing shitty hash or decent. Hey, for bud, it's amazing to be able to just take a bud and test a pound. To be able to, hey, what's up, little dude?
Hi.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Are you Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on, Spider-Man? You coming to hang out for?
No.
Oh, is Mommy trying to take you away?
No.
Oh no! Don't let her take you away. No, Spider-Man. Oh my gosh. Goodbye. I miss you.
That
Well-
is the cutest Spider-Man ever, dog.
Dude, he hasn't taken that outfit off since Halloween. It's like Christmas time now. He still wears Spider-Man every day. He calls it Pider-Man, and man, he just makes me smile. That just brought joy to my heart. Even though I can hear him through my headphones crying in the other room, which does hurt my soul a little bit. What a little cutie.
Many blessings to you and your family, man.
Yes. Well, thank you, guys. I'm looking forward to some Emerald Cup action today, but at the same time, I'm quite enjoying just sitting and puffing some bowls with my Hash Church friends. We've done this so many times, it's almost pretty chill at this point.
It just works.
Yeah, I wish you could come down for the event, Mark. You would love the community. The people there are so great.
On
Dude,
top
are
of that,
you kidding me?
how the community has embraced Hash Church too. I mean, it's become such a part of people's Sundays to watch, to gather, to talk about, and it's fascinating. Actually, I got to give a shout out to the Dank Duchess. She did an article in the latest Cannabis Now. I think it's Cannabis Now on Hash Church, on sitting there making hash with Frenchy Cannoli, and then watching Hash Church and talking about the discussions that we have on Hash Church and how cool it is, and how it's become a part of her life to the point where she wrote a nice article on it. So she gives shout outs to everybody, including the bong rip there, Mr. D, how she likes to smoke along with that as well. So congratulations, everybody, on becoming a part of the underground culture to mainstream.
Absolutely, and
That's awesome.
I love the fact that it's getting written by other people, that I didn't have to write the article, you know, because I think that there's more value of it having it be written from another perspective, someone that's been a panelist, someone that's a hash maker, someone that grows herb, someone that can have a more sort of truthful, transparent perspective of Hash Church without the bias of me, or even any of you guys for that matter, because really Hash Church belongs to you guys as much as it belongs to me, as much as it belongs to the entire audience. I'll tell you, I definitely can't see Hash Church surviving without you guys.
How about a bong rip?
No. We already did a bong
Yes.
rip. No, we're not doing bong rips.
Bong rip.
Bong rip. Bong rip.
All right, fuck it, we'll do a bong rip.
There you go.
If we got to, it's
We have to.
it's gonna happen. Yep. In the meantime, mute that mic when you're not talking there, buddy. It's loud noise. I got the headphones on. Boom, boom, boom. We didn't stream last night due to Emerald Cup. Well, the chat's going off. Bong rip, bong rip, bong rip, bong rip.
Yes.
I guess it's time to do a bong rip.
How many people that are in the chat are going to be at the Emerald Cup today? Could everybody that's going to be there just like say yes or no on chat? I would love to see if we're going to see you.
There's got to be a few, right? I sent the link to Indra. I haven't seen him yet.
He might have been up late.
Yeah, he had a problem. He said his CPAP machine didn't work the night before, and so he wasn't able to sleep more than like 2 minutes at a time. So
geez.
last night he said he was going home so that he could get some rest because he wasn't able to. So we weren't going to see him today because of that, which kind of made us sad. But I understand, you know, he's a vet and he's got to take care of his health. So
Yeah, he's got some shit going on for sure that takes priority sometimes over just hanging out and having fun.
But it was, without a doubt, it was cool to actually meet the soul. And it was ironic where we were all sitting too. We were sitting in the extraction barn where all the different extraction companies have their equipment. And so we're talking about the different machineries that were there and the technologies in comparison to what's out there and what, you know, he's been working on. And it's just interesting to see the growth and how much interest people had in the different machines that were there as well, and the interest in the technology, because as Todd was saying, since 64 passed, it's kind of flipped the switch. And
Yeah.
Definitely a lot more people this year, and a 215 area is much larger this year than it was last year, and it's a lot smoother. Last year there were very long lines everywhere. There's still some lines, but they definitely staggered things in different areas and staged things in different areas. So like to get your 215 for this one and all these different things, they had a lot more organized this year, whereas last year it was like a block long line wait to get your actual stuff.
So what happened to all those anti-OMA 64 folks? Did they just drop off the edge of the earth? Like, are they complaining that people might be getting out of jail? Or are they complaining, like, because they had some seriously harsh arguments. I'm up in Canada and I don't pretend to know exactly what's going on. I do put a lot of trust in people like Todd and people like Etienne and people like Chris Conrad and people like a lot of people that I respect down in California. I didn't see one of them really being against it.
They're still around. They're still complaining.
Really?
What they're mostly complaining is about all the cities and counties that are banning outdoor and even indoor cultivation by requiring permits and things like this. So they're saying, see, we told you. But
to a degree, you know, the one that was running the LA anti-ALMA page wrote to me on Instagram and apologized. So, you know, some of them have really been kind of coming around, and I was kind of shocked at that. But I think people are looking at the Trump administration and shit in their pants, not wondering what's going to happen with this new guy Sessions and other people that he's appointing, because they're nightmares. And now I think a lot of people are really glad we passed even a little bit of freedom, because it looks like it could go backwards on us really easy. And that's something a lot of people, I think, don't realize, that some of the things that have been giving us the pass here, which have been the memos that have come out of the Obama administration, can be reversed. If those people are not there to uphold what was basically the way they interpreted the rule of law, you know, DEA could start searching and grabbing people again in a minute.
Yeah, while that's technically true, what you're saying, the truth of it is, and we both know it, if the feds have to do it with their own manpower, they've already lost. They can't do it. They don't have it. They always depended on state, county, and city manpower to do the legwork.
Sure.
And so one of the main things we're looking forward is to see if the Rohrabacher Amendment is continued in the next budget, because that has been the one that has staved off the federal interference. That's what allowed me to win my case against the federal government. So we're kind of in this bizarre wait and see, because we're waiting another 2 months until he gets into office. We've got no choice but to wait. Regardless, we've never seen a president-elect as vocal or as loud or as schizophrenic as we've necessarily seen go on in the media. So it's a lot of our people on the our lobbyists, et cetera, they're all positioning to find people within their administration. This happens every change of every 4 or 8 years whenever a new administration comes in. And some of our people are close to his people, but we still have no read. Everyone's just trying to find out which way the wind's blowing right now, because we won't really know until these people are appointed and he's kind of in place. But we're trying to see if there's any litmus out there, if they're going to put out any winds of which direction they're going in. And so everyone's literally trying to do that as we speak.
We have to start a rumor that Putin is in favor of medical cannabis.
I saw some people
absolutely.
Some people went into Sessions' office and smoked or brought marijuana, and I understand that to a point, but I wonder the detriment of something like that, of what it might cause, or a backlash, because it makes for a good stunt. However, I've seen good stunts blow up in people's faces and cause people to become more hardened in their stances. So I respect the activism, but we're still in that suspended animation of wondering which way the wind is blowing.
Yeah, I liked it. I saw it and I appreciated it. I thought, right on, fuck, you know, that's just it's kind of like Todd's attitude sometimes, of just like, we can't be afraid. Like, holy shit, like, these guys think this is here. Look, this is what you're afraid of. Look, it's like a little flower. Like, you know, they didn't go and light a big fatty in his office. They just brought some flowers. It's like, look, bro, we got flowers. I thought that it wasn't so bad, especially in a country where clearly those flowers are allowed in a lot of places.
Yeah, I think for me it's really cool. I mean, to see the culture kind of changing, because the amount of different faces, the eclectic group of people that are at the Emerald Cup, really shows that this is just all. Cannabis touches on all spectrums of humanity. It's really beautiful to see people getting comfortable and coming out and seeing that much culture coming out to the Sonoma County fairgrounds and just walking around like it's normal and having people just displaying it and the relaxing time of it. It's just incredible. I mean, that was kind of the culture I was
Well,
really
on top of
impressed
that,
about seeing.
they corral all the alcohol people into an alcohol corral for them to drink. They can't drink outside of it. So what's
Awesome.
interesting to also, it's like at Chalice when I got to watch police walking around. I was watching them yesterday in the 215 area. Police just walking around saying hi and hello to everybody. The complete opposite of any type of cannabis at an outdoor event in the past that we've ever had to deal with. So it's just watching that alone, that dynamic happen again, but this time in Northern California, and watch the cops just walk around with complete ease and relaxation like any other normal event. It was refreshing. It just shows you how emboldened we've become with the and how they've also accepted these laws. You know, the cops could have fought it to a certain extent and said,
Well,
"Oh,
dude,
yeah."
that's what changes the vibe. That's what changes the vibe, because it's not us that changes the vibe. We're in the vibe. It's when they, like, people are like, we don't need fucking licenses. I'm like, no, you're right, we don't. But all those straight people that have been lied to for like 100 years, they need that license, because the minute they see it, their brain just goes click. When the second I got my license and I was able to grow cannabis and I was able to have my home smell like cannabis and I was able to have cannabis plants on my deck where people could see when they walked by, all of these different things, I thought the freedom that opened up for me, it wasn't in my brain, it was in all of the other brains that were perceiving it. And to me, that was a huge change. That's a major thing. Like billions of dollars of propaganda, lies, and just spewing the most negative shit you could possibly spew about this plant. And then a piece of paper. Here you go. There's your name, 10 pounds, 99 plants. Right. Have a good day.
And it was beaten by, you know, a whole bunch of individuals out there telling the truth. Because re-education is what was really required to get us to this point. And now so many, what we still have to reach, though, is the people who are anti-cannabis, because we're just wasting our time preaching to the converted. We got to reach the unconverted.
And I agree with you. And looking at the Emerald Cup, there's a lot more that we have reached. I mean, that's the part that it's really, when you walk through this place, it's like a country fair. You see the whole community there. You know, you don't see little kids there, which I love. It's really for adults, but you see a whole spectrum of the community there, from old to young to Rasta to geeky kids to everything. And it's really fantastic to see that spectrum.
And on top of that, there's people from all around the world. When I was waiting for my line for 215, there's people from Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee. They had just gathered, and they were all saying how none of them were from the state and just laughing. Speaking of, did you hear what happened in Texas this week, you guys? No. So Texas is changing its medical marijuana laws and have it up in its legislature to go past just the CBD and to allow for smokable cannabis as well as dispensaries. So, and the thing that I heard, I watched an hour-long gathering of people, and the local news covered it, and they had all these mothers and veterans and people come out and speak why they needed medical cannabis, and there was no negativity the entire time. But one thing the state senator said, he's like, now we have to realize conservative states like Arkansas and North Dakota have passed this. So why are we still left out of it? And that ripple alone, I thought, was quite a powerful statement, because you've got a conservative Texas, which has always been conservative. A lot of my relatives and family live in Texas. So my stepfather, who's 92 years old and still kicking, has Alzheimer's, and I wish he could get access to medical cannabis, but he can't because it's not one of those conditions that allows for it, but this new would allow for.
In Texas, are they allowing patients to grow it themselves, or do they have to go through a dispensary? Or
I think it will be a dispensary situation there in Texas, which I would inspect for a conservative state like that.
Yeah, step by step.
And that's what happened in Montana. You know, they got the medical passed first, and then they just got dispensaries passed. So sometimes it is a step-by-step incremental process to get the change you need. But to all you people in Texas, call your people, call your local representatives, and let them know that you support this moving forward, this measure moving forward in Texas, and get your voice out there. For every voice that speaks up, it speaks between 1,000 to 10,000 people per phone call. So get your voice out there and make it known. Get active.
Make it known one step at a time. Every step that we've gotten, even growing hemp, has been, basically forms of civil disobedience. Some a little more drastic than others, like with cannabis, obviously, medical cannabis, setting up shop and straight selling it. It's funny because here in British Columbia, you've got Trudeau, our prime minister. He got elected. He's decided he's going to be enforcing these cannabis laws until the companies who are following the legal mechanisms are in play. So he's busting dispensaries. Now, at the same time, here in British Columbia, a group has decided they will not wait for the federal government to acknowledge and allow safe injection sites, because so many people, if you guys can understand, this fentanyl thing has gone out of control. We had 1,250 overdoses in Vancouver last month. In the last 30 days, 1,250 people overdosed. I don't know how many deaths there were in that, but these were all serious overdoses. And so now they want to create these safe injection sites. The federal government's humming and hawing, much the way they are with dispensaries. And you can see the parallel between this, because these people are like, no, we have to open up these safe injection sites because it's saving people's lives. And that might sound drastic to those that don't understand the power of cannabis, but dispensaries are not only improving the quality of some people's lives, but they are saving other people's lives. It's a guarantee that it's occurring. Some people's lives are being saved by having access to these dispensaries and not being able to afford the LP cannabis. So I'm not anti either or. I just like to dialogue the different perspectives, and I just thought that was an interesting parallel, allowing creating safe injection sites. Now we'll see, will Trudeau's government send the police in and bust these safe injection sites the way they're doing with dispensaries?
Be interesting to see. Also, did you guys see this week that Donald Trump's daughter supposedly got caught smoking pot at a club in New York? It's hit some more of the sideline news. I haven't seen it really hit the mainstream news, but that was rather interesting.
Yeah,
Right.
They didn't mention her medical card, did they?
Apparently not. Apparently in the clubs that she must not have carried her medical card,
She said she was confused of the laws because she actually grew up in California, but she's in New York, and she thought New York had medical and California had medical, so it was okay.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's another aspect, okay, where it's kind of like, to what level is it going? It creates an interesting situation. Welcome to Chimera, by the way. That you're going to have all these different situations where, for instance, you have a federal cannabis regime in Canada. You have all sorts of state mechanisms in America. People get confused. People from Canada go down to the US. What happens when you get caught with that little bit of your medicine that you're using perfectly legal? Well, you get denied into the country. You get a mark on your record saying that you're no longer allowed into that country. It's a pretty interesting situation that they're going to have to figure out, because zero tolerance, in my opinion, is much harder to navigate when you have allowable access on both sides of that border to the thing that you're not tolerating in between the two. Seems
just
like
another fundamental bullshit about the drug war.
Well, interstate cannabis is illegal everywhere.
How can you have a situation where you've got some people in society allowed to have it and some people in society where you're not allowed to have it? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, maybe she'll point this dichotomy out to Daddy so that she'll be like, Daddy, I got caught in New York where I thought it was legal. If you just made it legal across the entire United States, Daddy, I wouldn't be in the news anymore, okay? And you could go yell at Saturday Night Live some more.
He'll pass a law that any child that gets caught with a few grams of cannabis and whose father's a billionaire gets out of jail free.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, black kid who got popped in the Bronx or whatever, he's doing like 5 years.
Which is exactly why I hated the way we had things. And I think legalization is important because it leaves selective prosecution into the hands of the cops. Everybody should be against decriminalization because it fucks over anybody the cops don't like.
Yeah, no, that's a major point to make, that I think a lot of people miss that subtle nuance, Todd. Because you don't hear it be brought up in the discussions as often. It's like, listen, you can't have the police be able to decide. That's not a good, because right now, look what they decide. Look how many people did they shoot and kill in the US last year?
Dude, no shit. And you know what's funny is all this information about fake news is out. You know, people are talking about how they should be appalled by it. But hasn't the cannabis industry been getting fucking screwed with fake news since like the beginning of the 20th century? Since slammed with yellow journalism and Anslinger and all those assholes. Like, isn't that what they used against us for decades?
Yes. Like, and so deep, not even just in like the media, but even in like entertainment, where it's like, okay, the joke is good if it's derogatory. If it makes them look stupid, we're down with that, because it's not a coincidence that all the cannabis jokes in all the movies for so many decades were derogatory. They were negative. They looked down upon the use of cannabis. It was, oh yeah, for a laugh, but really, like, the more I learned about cannabis, the more I got offended by them.
Well, can't we remember back to when I was in prison and it got found out that the drug policy, like, executive branch that was actually creating the drug war was paying Hollywood television shows to insert anti-drug messages into their programming, so that then they wouldn't have to run the advertisement for free from the government that basically promoted ending the, you know, drug use.
That's what I'm saying. That shit was written into contracts via the networks. Like, that's pretty
total brainwashing. Total brainwashing when you start getting, it's beyond fake news. Now it's fake commentary and fake comedy.
The really funny thing about it all is that just think about how good it worked.
Well, that's, yeah, and you know what, Sam, you said it right there, because all the singing to the choir that we do will be not equal to one single unit of placement of that method. They take that same, instead of negative, put a little positive aspect on it. Sanjay Gupta, CNN, boom, like 800,000 people wake up overnight. Sanjay who? It's like,
hey,
who?
Have any of you guys seen this show called Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia?
Oh, yeah.
Vice?
Yeah, Hamilton's awesome.
Holy awesome show. If anybody has not seen it, if you like psychedelics, plants, I highly recommend this show on Viceland. It's this gentleman who's a doctor. And he's actually, the last show at the season, he's actually hanging out in Shulgin's lab.
Yeah.
And he shows old pictures when he was hanging out back in the day with Sasha. And it talked about a lab that was in a old volcano, and that was pumping out all kind of psychedelics back in the day. And that was just one show, but one, he does mushrooms, another I've seen him do salvia in all different ways, shapes, or form. And it's the most humble or realistic portrayal of the drug culture by somebody who's done it. And it's very unflinching and
it's
very
real.
Yeah, it's straight up. It doesn't feel fake. It's like, oh hey, we're gonna go do these drugs now and see how it is. It's just all real, matter of factly, how we all know it to be. So if you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend it, people.
Gordon Wasson style, you know, just like 60 years later and with a film crew. Pretty cool stuff. Good shout out there, Etienne.
And on top of that, Viceland really seems to have embraced the cannabis culture. I mean, of all the networks, I mean, Discovery kind of tried, but they were kind of syrupy with the cannabis stuff. Yep. Whereas Vice has really embraced it as a, here we fucking go.
Well, they know it'll pay the bills. That's for damn sure. I know there's a new one out called Bong Appetit, and Pritchard from out in Colorado was on that. They had a bunch of epic chefs. Tony Verzura's in it. He's down in California. And yeah, the first episode of Bong Appetit just came out, or it's coming out right away. So I only saw the trailer, but it looked very cool in the sense of just this almost like wine dinner party setting that's really basically a cannabis setting. So nice to see cannabis escaping, you know, this sort of placement that it was put into, almost jammed into a corner like a stop, with the indoor growing and the prohibition-based mentality and even how we enjoy it. I mean, for me, growing up, you smoked a joint outside, you smoked a joint like in the back, you smoked a joint away. You did not smoke a joint in the warmth, in the comfort of the people. That was just like, you had to be around all herb people. If you were around a group of people that maybe weren't fully herb people, then it was like, you have to go hide and do that. Like, you can't just, which is really like, talk about a subtle nuance right there to affect in the most negative of lights, just how you even perceive, you know, certain people are sensitive to these things as well, and they feel guilty. I know when I first started smoking cannabis, I didn't feel that guilty, but I definitely thought, yeah, it's probably not good. I'm inhaling tar. You know, you put together all these mild propagandas and you start thinking, oh, well, until you learn these things, you don't really know. And it's, you know, that's the power of propaganda. It can shift your mindset in a way that you didn't even realize it did.
Well, there was always such an us and them with the cultures. I mean, how many friends did I make behind, you know, buildings, behind restaurants, behind dumpsters, smoking joints, because we weren't allowed to be with the rest of the people. So it really did separate the cultures. But now I think that's coming together. Look at what Colorado's doing. They're going to allow on-site consumption. So we're going to see these cafe-style, you know, cannabis coffee shops taking a hold, and community coming together, because I think there's a large part of the cannabis population that doesn't really do shots and pound beers. You know, they smoke joints, they smoke hash. They're just not into the bar scene at all. But if you gave them the ability to congregate and have a community, I think it's gonna grow quite quickly, is what I'm saying. But I have to go get Mel Frank now, so I'll see you guys in a little while.
Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to your return.
Look forward to seeing Mel more than anything.
Oh, well, happy birthday to your daughter, Mark. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How old is she today?
15 years old.
Wow, I have a 15-year-old daughter as well. It's you know, it's a wonderful experience. It's a handful at the same time. They're going through some wild things at that age. It's actually when I met my wife.
Is she going to go for her driver's permit on the 15th?
I think that's in 16, right?
Yeah.
When she turned 16, right?
Yeah, it used to be 15 when we were younger. You could get your learner's permit when you're 15 and a half, and you could drive with a parent or whatever. Now it's like, here in BC, it's insane. It's like 16, you get the L, you can't basically drive anywhere, no highways, can't go over 60. You got to be with a parent or someone who's had a license for 10 years or something. And they have that for a long time, like maybe a year or more. And then they get the N, which is a green N, which means new driver. I think they have that for 3 or 4 or 5 years. So
Yes.
definitely different from the way I got my license. I was just like, yeah, let's woohoo, go get my learner. 16 years old, fully driving all over the place. A muscle car with like 400 horsepower or whatever, some stupid, insane Nova SS, you know, like 350 LT1 under the engine with the high-rise manifold and the 850 CFM carburetor, Hurst 4-speed shifter with the locking reverse. It was psychotic for my father to allow me to get this car at 16 years old. Like, completely.
Would you allow your 16-year-old to have that kind of car?
I don't know, dude. This car went like really fast. In fact, I ended up getting a ticket. Well, not a ticket because my mom worked for the police, but I got pulled over by the police. Well, pulled over in the sense that I went by them and like 10 minutes later, they found me at where I was, and it was 247 kilometers in an 80. Yeah, the policeman, who was a friend of my mom's, pulled me right out of the window. Like, he didn't even open the door. It was a summer day. I had my window open, and he pulled me out of the window. But I never got the ticket because the police people don't ticket police people. That's just how that goes.
How did that come up that you were police people?
Well, everyone knew my mom.
Everybody's known that for years and years.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. No, my mom was the 911 chief, so she was basically the head of communications for all of Winnipeg.
Yeah, I have employees who have done that in the past. They were dispatchers for the police, and they get a dispatcher's card, and it's basically a get out of jail free card. Because if you're a dispatcher helping the police, they're like, "Oh, you're one of us." So, yeah, stop it. Go on.
Dude, listen, I have had so many tickets ripped up, and I only drop my mom's name at the end. I'll let them write the ticket up. I'll let them do the whole thing. One time when I got, okay, this was amazing. And I won't even tell the first half of the story because I don't want to incriminate myself. But I'm on my way home from work, and I get pulled over by Vice. And at first I'm driving my mom's car, and I'm driving, and I look over to the left of me, and I see this car pull up really fast with these two dudes, and they look at me, and they're threatening. And they're kind of like, they have this gang-style mentality, but they're not gang members, except they are. They ended up being Vice cops, which are like total gang members. Anyway, they pulled me over. I was like, fuck, what the fuck? I had my wallet on the front seat of the passenger seat, on the floor, sorry. So they pulled me over. I pulled over. I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab my wallet. I lean over to get my wallet. Well, both my doors are open. These guys have guns pointed at me. And they're telling me hands on my head type of thing. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm kind of freaking out because I didn't tell you the first half of the story. I went somewhere after work. I went to a person's house. I didn't do what that person wanted me to do. I just left and I went to meet another person. Well, in between those two houses, I got pulled over by Vice, brought down to the Vice station. When I got arrested, I told the guy, I think I might be the luckiest guy in the whole world. Because if I had done what my friend wanted me to do, I would probably just be getting out of prison right now. But anyway, so I drive with them. I'm arrested. They take me to the secret Vice place where they take, you to interrogate you in the little room. And, the guy's kind of like, do you have anything else to say before we destroy your car? Because we're absolutely going to destroy your car. We're going to rip the shit out of it. And I just said, well, all I would say is you should contact Paulette Richardson at the comm center because she's the chief of operating and it's her car. And I know she'd be very upset if you destroyed it. And so they ended up letting me go. They were so mad. Like I'm telling you, they were so mad because they had a valid tip and I should have by all means had what they thought I had, but I did not. And it was an amazing experience. Another one, dropping my mom's name and saying, sayonara, good luck, bye-bye. And whoo, I'll tell you guys, that I'm pretty sure that would have been like, I don't know, like 10 years.
Well, I'm glad that never happened and we're doing this instead.
Dude, as he was putting the handcuffs on me, I looked at him and I said, I am the luckiest guy in the world. And so in the interrogation room, he's like, when you said you were the luckiest guy in the world, I kind of had a feeling like that you probably didn't have anything. I was like, yeah.
You did have something. You got Bubble Mom.
Yeah, I got Bubble Mom. No, but I mean, trust me, if I would have had what I was supposed to have, it would have been bad. And Bubble Mom would probably not have been sorting that out in any way, shape, or form. It would have been bad. Yeah, it was some snitch bullshit. You're right, Oregon Bud, man. That was some snitch bullshit. Not the first time I got snitched on. I did get snitched on another time, and I did get busted the second time. But it was just with 16 pounds of weed and a bunch of cash. And so that wasn't such a big deal because I don't live in Oklahoma. I live in Vancouver. So the judge was like, no time, no fine, and give that boy his money back, would you? Good old British Columbia. Fucking insane. Can you imagine my friends from like Texas and Oklahoma and fucking like the Midwest are just like, what happened? Like even for a while they thought he must have like told on someone. Like you can't, that just doesn't happen. I'm like, no, trust me, it happens. You don't have to tell on anyone. It's Canada. No need to tell on anyone. There's never a need to tell on anyone. Let me tell you.
Well, it's amazing what Etienne was saying about Texas, though, because Texas is a pretty conservative state, and it is the corridor from Mexico.
Yeah,
for most of what comes up through Mexico. And so typically, it's always been a bust.
Yeah, they're hard.
I remember Grateful Dead tour in Texas.
Skip it
to avoid.
Yeah, you go around.
Exactly, you're gonna get in trouble down there.
It's only the String Cheese incident sung, "You can't bust me if you don't know what you found," and that's when the Texas cop found their mushrooms but didn't know what it was. And I also have a story of a cop finding my mushrooms and not knowing what it was. It was amazing. Karmic debt, I'll tell you. Karmic debt, because I had a friend who was kind of one of those friends that isn't like, you know, you always get the short end of the stick with this kind of guy. He's always at the top. You're always a little bit below. And so we were driving across the country together from Manitoba to British Columbia. And there's a part of the highway in British Columbia called the Coquihalla. And he was obsessed with driving the Coquihalla. You got to go much faster. It was a real big killer highway. Killer in the sense that people actually get into wicked accidents and die on that highway all the time because it's so much higher than everything else. Snow falls in like a minute. It's just summer day, then it's like a snowstorm. So he was asleep or going to sleep, and he said, wake me up. I want to drive when we get to the Coquihalla. So we get to the Coquihalla, and I'm just like baked and driving, and I forgot to wake him up. But he wakes up halfway down the Coquihalla. He's so mad at me. He's like, pull over, I'm driving. So I pull over the car. I'm like, whatever, dude. You drive. What the fuck? So he drives, man. Within 10 minutes of this guy driving, he almost kills us. And in fact, I'm certain if I didn't grab the wheel and crank it to the right, he probably would have T-boned the car in front of us worse and maybe injured the little girl who was behind the door. I cranked his wheel, so we only hit the front of the car, which was sideways on the road. We just smashed the front of it. Snowstorm out of nowhere. We're off the ditch into the culvert, which is amazing on the Coquihalla because most of the Coquihalla is like 1,000-foot drop. A half a kilometer before it was 1,000-foot drop, and a half a kilometer afterwards it was 1,000-foot drop. But where we were, it was a ditch. And so we ended up in this ditch. I'm like, bro, what the hell? Like, I should have just kept driving. Of course, he lit a big bowl of this Nepali hash that he had right before the accident because he felt bad that he yelled at me. I was like, whatever, dude, I'll smoke a bowl. I'm fine. So our whole car reeked like hash. So when the cops showed up and started searching us, and it was the most incredible search I've ever gone through. I had material on me that I was moving from one hand to another, to a pocket, to another pocket while the cop was searching me. I wished I had a video of it. But I had a half a pound of mushrooms that he did not find, and he had his hands on it. I watched him go into my bag, pull the mushrooms out, and then keep going deeper and then put everything back. And he only found my friend's weed and hash, the guy who was driving, the guy who yelled at me, the guy who caused the accident. So in the end, he ended up getting charged. And none of the rest of us, we all had stuff. None of us got charged. But we had to, with all of our stuff, follow the cop down the Coquihalla to the police station to get my friend booked with fingerprints. This is the Canadian way. It's like, yeah, you can take your own car. Just follow us and we'll book you at the station. So that was an incredible, instantaneously karmic revelation for me. And even my buddy admitted it later. He's like, you know, that was weird. Like I was there were 4 of us in the car, and all of us had illegal shit. And that cop searched us wicked good and could not see our shit. He just saw my buddy's stuff. And yeah, he got charged for that, unfortunately. Hated to see that happen, but karma. Did you really need to drive?
Is he still a friend?
You know what? He's not really a friend. I had to tell him some years back. I've had a lot of experiences with this guy, but a couple years back, I just had to tell him, look, I don't think that we're very good for each other. And, you know, I don't think you're a bad dude, but maybe just with me, we're not compatible. So I always like to look at it that way rather than be like, he's not a good person. Nobody should hang out with this guy. Because this is like, you know, I get messages like this all the time. Hey, this guy scammed me. I noticed that you're in his group. You should tell everyone to leave his group. I'm like, whoa, like, time out. Like, what if you're just like an evil sociopathic person that's lying, trying to ruin his group? Let's be honest. Those people are out there. Can't take anything for face value anymore. Yeah, ghosted him, Oregrown Bud, man. Ghosted him. That's what happens sometimes. You got to get ghosted. 731 people in the room watching Hash Church 116. We've been streaming for almost an hour now. I'm looking forward to the next hour because we're going to get Emerald Cupping, which should be enjoyable. I've never been to it, and every time I see it, I feel like it's absolutely something that I should be at.
You deserve to be here, man. I was going to say I'll be leaving probably around 11:30 noon to just go head out there. The traffic's crazy in the parking, but it's everything about our world, and definitely you should have a booth there with your bags.
Dude, well, Tim Tim even offered us like the VIP scenario. He was like, dude, Hash Church guys, you got the VIP. I was like, man, are you serious? He's hooking us up and I can't even go. I would for sure have a booth. I would pay for a booth, no problem. Love to support the business. Love to support the event. To go to as many cannabis cups and as many events as I've been to and not be able to, and California, hello, that's like I think it's less than a 2-hour flight. I don't know what the closest airport is to Northern California.
Oh, it's just San Francisco or Oakland right here. We're just right
Okay, well, San Francisco's 2 hours.
Yep.
Damn. I mean,
And
dude,
it's just an
I could
hour
get there
north from
today.
San Francisco, an hour north from San Francisco, and we're there. Boom.
The very
Jesus.
first harvest festival that I went to in the late 70s was in Santa Rosa. This was pre the High Times Cannabis Cup, really a long, long time ago, when you had to show up at a certain address and then they blindfolded you and put you in a van and drove you to the event. And there was about 100 people there, and it was, it really was a truly amazing harvest festival with all the best growers in Central and Northern California participating if they wanted to.
Yeah, I did a similar thing back in I think it was in 99, and we were escorted to a place where it was a clone exchange, and we were all in a van. We all were blindfolded and taken to wherever we were, and then got out and brought inside. And then we took our blindfolds off. And
Listen,
I'm glad we no longer have to do that. I'm just happy to show my ID at the door and just walk in.
but who hasn't been blindfolded here in this cannabis industry? Being involved in it as long as you have, I can honestly say I can't count how many times. First, it was the bag, and I thought that was a heat score, but it was in the back seat. Then the front seat, which was the best, were the blacked out glasses, like welder's glasses that they had taped, like duct tape into all the way around. Those were my favorite, just wearing those glasses, can't see shit. Where am I going? I don't know. It's amazing the trust over the years, because that fell to the wayside for me many, many years ago. And I was still able to go into countless grows over the years and do photography. And I'm happy to say, knock on wood, never was there a problem after leaving there. For me, I thought about those things. I wanted to make sure when I showed up smart. I didn't bring unwanted attention. I didn't want to leave and create unwanted attention, especially when it was highly illegal to do these things. Yet at the same time, shout out to the people who put trust in us, because let's be honest, you know, that was the thing that the DEA wanted to destroy more than anything, trust, because that's how the cannabis industry started in the 60s and the 70s. There was this trust. There was like, yeah, like Howard Marks writing about leaving a semi-trailer full of weed on the side of the road and then giving people like directions to it to go just take hundreds of pounds out of it, all on spec and on the cuff. And yeah, you pay for your 200 and you owe 500. And I'll tell you, that level of trust certainly didn't exist much in the 90s. People were just too afraid by then. Too many people had been. Trust was the thing that would end up getting you fucked. That was the thing that they came in, with the illusion of trust, and then it ended up being, yeah, he ratted 20 years or rat, and now that whole crew's going down. Terrible the way it went down. I can't wait to see the disbandment of the DEA and that whole experience just be a distant bad memory.
Well, I saw the other day that, what was it? They found a whole bunch of tons of heroin in a tractor trailer. And I was saying to Todd, well, there in California, that's good. They're actually going after real problems. You know, that's a real problem that's happening that these guys should be going after. I mean, I understand the DEA needs to be done away with, but heroin is a huge problem here in the States that is completely being ignored, isn't talked about. But every small town USA, including it's affected my family. I know it's affected. I mean, how many families in the chat? I guarantee you it ripples everywhere from the start of the OxyContin. And then once they can't get the OxyContin, they hear, oh, I heard heroin gives you the same effects. And next thing you know, heroin is cheaper than cannabis. I mean, a $5 tar ball, I mean, is cheaper and easier to find than alcohol in some cities.
And that's what it's all about, how easy it is to find, like I've seen people straight get fully junked out on heroin through opium. you know, thinking that, oh no, it's natural, it's fine, it's safe, it's good. Makes my back feel better, just hitting it a little bit every day for so long that when it disappeared, he started going through withdrawal, and he didn't even realize that how addicted he was to it. And of course, you know, the opium dealer is going to say, hey, you know, just get a couple of points of some heroin. It's the same vibe, just do a little bit less. And man, I watched my friend go from like a strong, like, you know, a tough city dude, you know, like he always called himself, I'm a mean city Indian. You know, he was a native dude and he was a tough dude and he had a rough life, but he navigated it beautifully until the opium. And from there, I literally saw him get decimated. I saw him on the street riding like a stolen bike with the long jacket and the open sores all over his face. It was devastating to see. I mean, I sure have never seen that with cannabis.
No, and I wish I had my friend Steve, who's I moved out here to be in a band with, Steve Young. I mean, I love him so much, and I watched him absolutely strong brother, man. I mean, just great spirit. He's lead singer in my other band, and so we came out here a year after, but that whole year in between, he had gotten a heroin addiction, and it completely, yeah, last I had heard, he was shooting crack, and then fortunately he got his something happened where he got his life clean, and I've seen that he's doing well for himself, and he has a kid now and is actually has his life together. But I can say that's very few and far between out in the real world for other people that I know of. But I mean, it's touched me personally, and I'm watching how many people here in the chat that are saying how, you know, well, I wasn't necessarily addicted to heroin as much as I was to oxy. And then other people saying, yeah, heroin was the worst time of my life. So, you know, hang in there, people. It gets better. You know, if you can find cannabis and access to cannabis, it's a great substitute. But man, if you can get away and get yourself free of that heroin, I mean, please do, in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I had a good conversation with a guy that was over here yesterday, and he was going off on, you know, how cable TV and then the vaporizers, the glycol vaporizers. He's like, oh, those robot dicks. He's just talking about all these things that people are like attached to and addicted to, and they've got them by the soul. In the meantime, this guy smokes literally like 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I was telling him, like, dude, how are cigarettes any different? Like, that's just your heroin. That's your, you know, it is the worst, man. Like, talk about affecting the way you think. It controls the way you think. And I feel bad for people that are that addicted to things. My son's just kicking my window as hard as he can with both his feet. I hope that his feet do not go through that window. That would be a weird end to church. Gotta go!
A huge shatter and you running off. Yeah, that wouldn't make everybody paranoid at all.
Right?
Spider-Man would never do that, right?
Sure, Kim Cooper, no problem. I'll do an interview on the Pace radio show about Hash Church in the new year. Someone asked the question about what's high temp and what's low temp dabbing. I'll give my personal opinion, and then the rest of the panel can go to town on it. You know, low temp for me, because we do some of the pure terpene dips and whatnot, can be as low as like 450 degrees. You know, more realistically, I hit on average between 5 and 630 on my D-nail. But anything over like 750 is getting into a higher temp. And generally, like if someone says, "Oh, that was a high temp dab," it could be 8, 9, 1,000. You know, any of those temperatures could be considered a high temp dab. That's my perspective.
My perspective, low temp would be about 600. I like it in the mid between the 600 to 700 myself, because I use BHO. You tend to do more bubble, but that tends to work temperature for me. Yeah, high temp. I will use a higher temp, like if I'm traveling or something like that, and or staying in a hotel room, and I don't want my nail to sit there and slowly gas off. You know what I'm saying? Because they will slowly trail. So for me, I will go a higher temperature, sometimes 800 in a hotel room. So I vaporize everything on the hit, so I don't have a whole bunch of trailing air. You know? Actually, somebody was telling me how they actually listened to my techniques for going into hotel room, and they've actually mimicked them because it's just safe ways. You know, any way to be safe. You don't want to get caught. You know. Because as I tell somebody, you're not dealing with the hotel anymore. They're just calling the police, and you're not gonna like what you're dealing with. So if you be smart in what you do and deal with. So again, that's why, because I would find if I did like around 600, I would have a small trail of smoke that would just keep going. And next thing you know,
endless.
it pulls at the top of your room, and next thing you know, boom, off goes the alarm. So again,
Not to mention it reeks compared to just your hit. If you just take those 800 dabs and blow them out, they come and go. They don't like hang out and like stink the room up for hours.
So
what's your solution to turning off the alarm?
Oh, shower caps.
Shower caps. That's right off the bat, Mark. That's
but somebody needs to make a real condom for those things.
Be mindful. Just be mindful. If there is a fire and you leave a shower cap, there's a liability issue, right? I mean, that becomes a liability issue. That's all.
Well, the beautiful thing about a hotel is that there are hundreds of these fire alarms. They're everywhere.
Right.
We just do one of them in the little room that we're sitting in. So if, say, a fire began in the room, we would probably just leave the room and let the shower cap be burned and melted off of the fire alarm. And later when they went in, there would be no visible, the shower cap would just be melted off. They'd be like, what's this weird plastic spot melted on the carpet? I don't know anything about that, but no liability for these guys. They were cooking toast, apparently. Oh, yeah. How about this one? I'm up on the mountain one day. I might have told this story, Whistler Mountain. And I say to my friends, hey, you want to go get uncomfortably high? And they're like, yeah, let's go get uncomfortably high. So we go down to the Westin Hotel. It's our hotel room. Beautiful little spot right on the side of Whistler Mountain. And we dab ourselves out. We dab so hard, like I think on the third dab, boom, like the alarm is going off. It's like, so loud. Like I can't believe how loud it was. And it would not go off. Like it was, we called like twice. We went out to make sure that it wasn't going off anywhere else. This alarm was going off so loud in the room. We were all standing out on the deck with the door closed, and it was still hurting our ears. And I'll tell you, I remember my friend looking at me and saying, man, if I had known this is what you meant by getting uncomfortably high, I don't think I would have done it. Because we were just looking to get, super, super high, not in our ears high. Another kind of funny story nonetheless. Hotel, setting off alarms. We've all done it.
I had told my son about this. I said, hey, this is a good way to keep, your fire alarm from going off. And apparently they did this in one of their dorm rooms. And it didn't end up turning out too well for him because there was a smoke complaint in the room. And so when they came up to the room, they couldn't find anything because everything was stashed. But the one thing that gave them away when they turned around and they saw the shower cap.
Rookies.
Over the smoke detector, they totally gave them away.
They probably,
like, what the hell is this all about? So actually what they got in trouble for was the liability thing, because here's a dorm that's chock full of all kinds of people. Sure. If there were ever a fire, this would definitely be an issue. So
yeah,
that's the only thing I'm trying to bring up.
Of course.
I just thought it was funny how they got in trouble. It was actually the thing that.
So because your kid got in trouble, we have to all now worry about it.
Yeah, this is the liberal fucking way, dude. We all have to wear helmets now because Mark's kid got fucking
in trouble for it. But that was the only thing that they could find wrong. They found nothing else wrong.
Everybody, Mark. How about having the fucking fire department show up at your shop when we hotboxed it at the warehouse?
Oh, yeah.
Or at the Fairmont when you and Ro, and they had those security guys looking like Secret Service agents coming through. Yeah. Shower cap was off. We were fucking cold as fucking ice, man.
Dude, listen, that one was amazing because if they could have understood, we're in like a $800 a night beautiful hotel room, but I think the guy across the way in the $15,000 room was choked. We had all these nice pipes and we were puffing out on the deck, and he told the security and they came in. Well, they knocked on the door, and I would say, what would you say, Darren? 15 seconds before we stashed every single fucking thing, including multiple $50,000 glass pipes. Like, You would not believe how fast this shit got pulled away. I mean, the everything was done.
Shower
Boom, gone. They were just like
off the detector too.
they were looking everywhere. Remember the guy? And I got mouthy with the guy. Ah, fuck.
Yep. The best was the fire department showing up at your warehouse, though.
I kind of don't even remember that one.
I do. We were all coming back from. It was me, you, Ro, Flav, Johnny. We're coming back from some kind of weed conference. I think one of the first lift conferences.
Oh, yeah. We set off the alarm and it wouldn't stop, and the fire department rolled up, and we were like, we're just puffing bowls. This started at a very young age for me. I can remember being about 17 or 18. I'd gotten rid of the real fast Nova, and I picked up a 1974 orange Westphalia Volkswagen van. And so this thing was beautiful, mint condition, just a great little van. And we were parked in a parking lot of like a Wendy's. And we were puffing so tough in this thing that when we opened up the side door to get out, it was literally like a movie where, like, not just light vapor, but clouds of smoke were coming out. And the fire department, a fire engine was driving by. It was like 1 a.m. at the same time. And he literally lit his lights up, came back into they'd never seen anything like it. The guy said to me, I've never seen a car smoke that much that wasn't on fire. It was pretty impressive. And I'll also say one more thing. Even before that, I did a hot box with a friend in his Mazda Miata. He was a good friend of mine, Dane Neal. And I rolled up these like 5 huge joints. And I had this thing that was like a piece of wood that we used as a shotgun. So we'd put the joint in there, light it, and then put the lit joint in your mouth and blow. And the smoke that would come out of this piece of wood was incredibly thick and intense. So I started to blast these 5 or 6 joints. He was like, yeah. So we go out there, we blast 2 of them, one down each other's throats. We're completely destroyed. And I'm like, listen, I'm pretty high. Like, you want to just go back inside? He's like, what do you mean, man? I thought we were going to smoke all of them. I thought we were going to, pull that kind of energy on me. So I was like, all right, motherfucker. I blasted these 3 or 4 more joints down his throat. I had a little bit. He ended up at the hospital for smoke inhalation damage. The doctor asked him, were you in a house fire? Can you fucking believe that? I was like 16 years old when that happened. 16, maybe 17 years old. I'll never forget it. To me, that was before Bubble Man, before anything. But I felt like, man, if that's not a fucking notch on my belt. Talk about puffing tough with your bros. Have you been in a house fire? Fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm not making that shit up.
Nope, never seen that one. I've had a friend inhale a screen into his lung. But
oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, so check this out. I've literally just come back from the war, and my best bud Greg and I were he's drummer in my band. We're gonna go down to New Orleans because my stepmom's going down there, and so I'm like, hey, let's go for a ride. Let's go down to New Orleans for a week. And so we go down to New Orleans, and on the way down, he cleaned out his pipe. And when he cleaned out his pipe, we had a screen. It was an old wooden pipe back in the day. So he took that screen and he put it in his asthma inhaler because it was slipping out of the pipe. So he got it to stick inside his asthma inhaler. So somewhere right around the Mississippi border, he has an asthma attack and takes his inhaler and goes the 1 squirt, 2 squirt, and inhales deeply. And then I just see him grasp at his throat. He's like, oh shit. And then he starts whistling at me. I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, I inhaled the screen. And then he literally inhaled the screen into his left brachial opening to the lung. It literally went past his inhale point and then literally lodged into the lung. And he's just freaking out. And he's like, what do I do? What do I do? And I was like, I don't know. Let's go to a fucking hospital. So we ended up making it to New Orleans and took him to a hospital. And they literally gave him pharmaceutical grade coke, which he said was the best coke he had ever done. They shot it on the back of his throat. They went in through his nose and reached into his lung and grabbed the screen, pulled it out to the back of his throat, reached in with forceps and pulled it out. But of course, this is not before I had to call his mom and say, "Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I just made it back from war. Yeah, I'm at the hospital with your son. Yeah, I need your permission for open chest surgery because Greg's inhaled a screen into his lung. I need your permission for them to do this surgery." And long pause. And
Jeez.
yes, you have our permission to do this. And fortunately, they didn't have to actually do that, but that's what they said. If they weren't able to go this route, they were going to have to literally open his chest up and go in and pull that screen out of his lung.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you said it, I was like, that must be like a surgery. Like, how the fuck are they gonna get that out of his lung?
The kicker is, so the next day, we're back on the road again. We're getting high on the road, and I'm like, "Wow, man, this is good screen. Where'd you get another screen at?" And he's just laughing. I'm like, "What? Oh no!" And he's like, "Yes, sir." I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yep. I asked for my screen back, and they gave it to me, and so that's what we're puffing out of." So I got to puff out a lung screen.
That's unbelievable. Talk about people usually ask for the weird things that get cut out of their bodies, but that's pretty classic. Puffing on the screen that was in your lung like hours prior. Oh my God. Yeah, you've sickened out half the audience. Lots of oohs, lots of All right, so
that's life. That's real life.
True story. I got to try and send Tony the link. He's creating this difficult way for me to do it, the most difficult way that I could possibly do it, but we'll do it. We'll do it. I guess we will do it. 8976. Okay. See if that works. If I can get it on my phone, then I can send it to him. Yeah, Tony's an Android guy, so I can't send him text to all the people that are on Apple phones. It's such a huge pain in the ass to try and deal. Like, yeah, it's not going to let me send this link to him. So if anyone else wants to try and send the link to Tony via his cell phone, that would be wonderful. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to figure it out, unfortunately. Just opens up Google Chat for me.
Should be a better day today too. There should be no rain. So it rained for sure yesterday, but hopefully today a lot better.
Oh, there was rain yesterday?
Oh yeah, it's quite muddy. Of course, it's been gorgeous in Northern California pretty much all up until this weekend, and then it decides to just, cats and dogs it for the last couple of days. So it rained in the morning part, and of course we were there for the pre-party on Friday night, and it was raining the entire time. So it's just semi-cloudy now, and I hear it's supposed to be a nice day all in all. So looking forward to seeing it.
I think I have a few announcements here. One announcement would be to our buddy Indra, who's at home not feeling very well right now. Annie, his wife, was in chat earlier and asked that everyone sends their good vibes and prayers out to him. He's got some health ramifications that we hope that he gets over soon. So we are thinking about you, Indra. Church is never the same without you. I will say that. We definitely feel the loss of not having you here with us today. Another announcement. What was my secondary announcement that I wanted to make? It seemed like it was somewhat important. Oh, many people have asked me about Rob and whether he was going to be coming and sharing pictures of Turkey. They have a bunch of things going on with their project. I don't feel I have any freedom to talk about anything that they're doing, but I will say, I think we will end up seeing all of it eventually, but they're going to prepare it and release it the way they want to do that. And so I support them in that. They were going to do it here on Hash Church, but they have another plan now. You will for sure see it, and it will be here on Hash Church eventually. But we got to give these guys their space and the patience that they require to get this project done. And we will see the beautiful photos and the stories of everything that both Amir and Rob have been up to for the last couple of years. So I wanted to announce that as well. Yeah, that was about it. 10:20. Maybe it's time for a bong rip. Yeah,
Hey, Mark,
I think so.
what about that story in the news this week about one of the principals from Purdue Pharmaceuticals, the people who make OxyContin,
Yep.
being involved in an LP in
I
Canada? I didn't read the entire article, but can you fill us in on what happened there? Or do you know that?
I don't have a ton of information either, aside from hearsay and a few article kind of clips. And, you know, nowadays with the amount of just false information that's passed around, I wouldn't want to say anything as fact. But the rumor that I heard was absolutely that the Purdue family had invested in one of the LPs in Canada, Emblem, I believe.
Right.
So I think they just went public too. I'm not too sure, but I think they just went public. So obviously, yeah, that's, you know, it's funny because it's like there's a part of me that's, I can sit on both sides. Part of me, the first part of me says, fuck anyone that tried to fuck with cannabis. Fuck anyone that's destroying the world. Fuck anyone that's like on the wrong side being involved in cannabis. That's like my initial. Then my more quiet voice that's a little bit smarter and thinks longer about these things is like, yeah, but isn't this what we want? Like evil people to do good things? Like, don't we want them to stop making OxyContin and make, like, if they can make profits off cannabis and make it accessible, isn't that a better thing? Like, it's a weird dichotomy that I have with it where I'm like, fuck them, they can't be involved. And then there's this other part of me that's like, isn't this what we've been kind of asking, like all of these years of activism? Were we saying we want this legal so we can control it alone? Or were we just saying we want this legal? Because I don't remember the we want to control it part. I just remember us being, we want this legal. We want this to be allowed. We want this accessible.
I agree, and I've stated to the point is, look, we just wanted this child grown up. Whatever the child decides to do, you know, we just wanted it taxed. I remember a bunch of people sitting around saying, hey, as long as it's taxed, I don't care how they are. I don't remember anybody saying it's how we control it now, you know. So we've all fought for this child, like I said, to grow up, and now the child is growing up and walking on its own. And now what direction it goes, we watch it happen, but at the same time, it's kind of going to go its own direction because
we shouldn't be very surprised. I mean, most people wear clothing that's made by, you know, multinational, international corporations. They eat food that's, you know, grown by multi-international corporations. I mean, the same thing with automobiles, airplanes, gasoline. I mean, cannabis should be both a small craft business and large multi-internationals. I mean, if you want it normalized, that's what I want.
Yep, I agree. I mean, it needs to be as like I said, like you say, wine. You know, you've got wine that you can go out in every store in America and get, but you've also got here in Napa Valley these vineyards that are just small and they do nothing but mail order or like Visa Tui. You just come to there and you purchase it there. They don't sell it in any store. So there's going to be the whole range of it, as well as, you know, regionalism. Here in California, you'll be able to get Mendocino grown cannabis that's actually grown in Mendocino. Humboldt grown cannabis that'll be labeled and marked, you know, Mendocino. So it's taking the way of that type of shaping because they wanted to be that Napa Valley. You know, I bet you Meigs County in Ohio is going to try to be because they're the Humboldt County of Ohio. I bet you if things go that direction, they would want to actually brand their county or their region because remember, it's no longer the indica sativa anymore. We've changed that. So it's regional indicas. And so what's grows regionally to Northern California here will be its.
My point is this family of billionaires sit at the top of the OxyContin empire. This is the company that was put these people on Forbes's list of the 50 most richest people in the country. Yeah. I mean, these people are directly fueled by OxyContin right now. And so now what they see is, oh, we have so much fucking money, we could start playing in cannabis. That's exactly what this is. You know, that doesn't mean that they're going to cut off
would you rather have them Would you rather have them invest in Monsanto?
I'd rather have them out of business and all the doctors who prescribe that, you know. I mean,
right. And are you going to put the money into cannabis that they're not going to?
Well, I mean, there's no shortage of people with money, I guess, to put into the cannabis, but I'm just saying to the point where I think they're trying to do this almost as a way to hedge their bets on where things may go in the future.
I feel it too.
You would understand.
The other way to look at it,
You would understand that if they're in the pain business, that to not use cannabis is to not have a cannabis portfolio would actually unnecessarily handicap them versus their competitors.
Sure.
yeah, so I think it's good that they're working with cannabis, even if they're the scummiest people on earth. People who are working with cannabis probably are a tiny bit less scummy than they were.
They'll be affected by it. There's no doubt about that. I like Tony's reaction to your statement as well. Welcome, Tony. We're getting deep into this today, boy. Let me tell you.
That was so funny because he had like he's got you on your edge. You're just waiting for what Skunk Man Sam's gonna say, and it's just like he's right. You know, it'll make him just a little less scummy.
Well, I mean, listen, by no means am I it makes me feel sick too, bro. I'm right there with Mark. I know exactly how he feels. But then I've also got this dichotomous energy on the other side where I'm like, but what do we want? Do we just want these people to go away, like fly to Mars and not live here anymore? Like, we need to, like, it's kind of like when Adam wrote the song about Mark Emery getting put in jail in America, and he wrote the lyrics, Uncle Sam has ingested marijuana in the form of Mark Emery. And now I think they're gonna start seeing things a little bit differently. And I'll tell you, Mark went into jail and the whole thing started right then. Boom, Washington, Oregon, like it was just insane. Colorado, it all happened. The guy who prosecuted Mark, the guy who put Mark in prison was responsible for Washington's decrim or whatever that program that is there now. It was the prosecutor that prosecuted Mark Emery that did that. So I see that effect in the same way that, you know, these people, they might be the worst people on the planet, but if they're involved a little bit with cannabis, I think cannabis will affect them positively before they will affect it negatively. That's just my opinion.
Well, you know, there's two types of people. One type that accept the world for how it is and says, well, oh, well, there's opiates out there, and that's what I need to take because that's what the doctor says, and they accept the world for how it is. And the other type of person that sees opportunity to make changes and progress. It's on the market. It would not create the void in which people like ourselves come in and fill that negative void with light, you know?
Yep, totally. You were cutting out a little bit, but I heard most of what you said. I'm just trying to read the negativity that Please Mail Me Terps is going on about in the room. So I just...
What do you mean, please mail me terps?
Yeah, this is the guy's name is Please Mail Me Terps, and he's just said a few questionable things. He's like wanting to blame me for allowing, I guess, Dougie from Hitman on because he thinks that Dougie frauded him and others out of mislabeled glass. People love to bring their politics to Hash Church. The bottom line, Hash Church, because we don't take money, we don't have any sponsorships. We're all here just to be here. We're not responsible for the stupid shit each other may or may not say. It's just the dialogue. Take it for what it is. I'm not claiming that everyone in here...
Wait a minute, Mark. You're telling me I'm not being paid for this?
Well, no, Sam, you're still getting paid. We talked about that. We talked about that. Don't worry about that. That's I'll talk to you in private about that. Come on now.
Yeah, mine must be routed to the wrong Star Rat box or something because I haven't received the check yet either. I'm kind of getting concerned here.
Etienne, we discussed this.
I think that like the main thing here is you've given a lot of people just a little spotlight to talk and connect to people within the cannabis industry across the world. That's what Hash Church does. It brings to light patients, connecting science, connecting connoisseurs, enthusiasts, people just learning about you know, the different things in cannabis, and you just spotlight different people. You can't be responsible for who they are and how they act.
Exactly.
With them, it's not you, Bubble Man. You know, I mean,
no, Hash
keep
Church
it
is
moving.
bigger than me, dude. I'm just like a moderator. I just click the boxes when different people are talking.
And let me tell you,
It's all
that's not
your
an easy
fault,
job.
Mark. It's all
What's that?
That's not
your
an easy
fault.
job, by the way.
I know. What's that, D?
It's all your fault, bro.
Fucking rights.
Why I'm smoking on my fucking dry sift and I'm smoking my mothership and why I'm smoking.
It's all your fault.
Sounds horrible. It's all your fault, man. Thank you very much.
You're awesome, dude. Here, I want to show you guys something I did with this little app the other day that I just thought was like screen share worthy. Check this bad boy out. Mosaic Mothership. Doesn't that look pretty?
Yeah, that looks cool.
Oh, that's neat, man.
Yeah, dude.
Wow,
The
look
snow
at that.
too looks so trippy.
It's prismatic.
Yeah, that's
It is
really
prismatic. In fact, the app is called Prism. For those of you that might want to go play around and create such fun things.
Bong
Good
rip.
fun.
Bong rip.
Yeah, I'm down for a bong rip. We've only been going for an hour and a half. I guess we got another half hour before Emerald Cup, Tony.
Yeah, so if you were able to do some kind of extension today, that would help a little bit. But as far as setting up the compressor and use S2, well, it's a version 2 press, which is we've got a pound of Chiquita banana from Utopia Farms.
Ah,
That-
Chiquita banana.
Beautiful
Up.
and
All organic.
all organic, really nice. We also turfed the plant itself out, so I have Chiquita banana terpenes. And you know, for those that have come to this event, I do apologize for the line and the delay. I understand it's super frustrating. It's super frustrating for me too to not be able to take a breath or a dab and be able to meet with everybody as fast as I can.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah,
Good job.
you know, I tried as hard as I can. In the beginning, it was a little overwhelming. There's a lot of people at this event, man. There's like 30,000 people. It's probably, I would say, a good 30% or more bigger than it was last year. Really unbelievable crowd and showing. Just unbelievable love and support within everyone that's coming and showing, and everyone's been very respectful. But we had a dual pipeline going, man. You would have been proud. We had the one rig. We were doing the CBD solventless app that we entered this year. Last year we did the Bubble Man collab. We did another one this year, and I was having people dab that out of the rig that was the trophy, and then Rolling Hills Farm showed up with strawberry banana goo, free strawberry banana goo dabs from when we won in San Francisco. So it was like you could get CBD and THC right there in the same line, and had some different great conversations going on. So for those that are showing up, I do apologize. I think today will be a lot more streamlined, just to get used to it and a lot more support. So, but this is the Chiquita banana.
C banana.
C banana.
After
Sorry.
their cease and desist.
Yeah, they got a cease and desist. They can't call it Chiquita banana.
Oh
called
shit! Was that Big Buddha? Did it sound too much like cheese? Chiquita?
It's Chiquita Buddha. Yeah, it sounded exactly like that. So they got a cease and desist. So it's C banana. But it, to me, I'll say it this way: it smells exactly like a Chiquita banana.
Yeah, hence the name.
Hence the name Chiquita banana. So we're gonna basically press out a pound at the Harborside booth, and we're gonna whip up terps right as it comes out and serve up some live sea banana dabs.
Nice. Well, I'm sure everyone will be looking forward to that.
Yeah, and then there'll be 4 rigs at the table today. So what we'll do is we'll put out, what we make from the press onto the main table, so that way people can just take dabs of it, if they wanted to. But yeah, man, I wish you were here. I know Etienne feels the same way, and everybody that's out here.
Dude, you guys were all chilling with Indra the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see those guys, Indra and Etienne and Todd and.
No.
Oh shit.
No, we didn't see Tony. We were kind of off on the side on a spot where he could sit. Indra moves. He has a cane and everything, so he needs to sit down. So yeah, we were kind of off on the side. No, I was gonna go by and see Tony today.
Nice.
Better to do it day 2. Day 1 was
Chaos.
It was ridiculous.
Lines everywhere for food and booths and everything was just nuts.
Yeah, it was. I don't think people I don't know. You anticipate a certain size crowd, but then
the wait, the entertainment
just to get in. Yeah, I mean, just to get in, I waited 2 hours to get in.
What?
Show too, though.
Yeah, we went to like the vendor area, then the parking said no. It's all rained out, so you can't park here. So we had to park like 2 blocks away. Then we walked with all our shit to like the vendor entrance. Then they said you needed to get a bracelet. We said, here's our tickets, here's our VIP stuff. Like, nah, you got to walk on the other side of the building to go get your bracelets. And then that's like 2 miles one direction. You get your bracelets. You walk 2 miles back the other direction. I mean, it was like zombies, man. And then once you get in, the event is really huge and spread out. So I'm going to try to do a little as we get closer. I'll just go on mute with the headphones and, I'll walk through it and take you on the journey. We got it dialed in this time. I won't be on the phone for 2 hours walking around in a circle.
Dude, the bridge looks so cool, whipping by either side of your head in the background peripherals of the windows behind you. It looked like you were like on some Star Wars.
Yeah, and the reflection in his glasses looks cool too. You can see the reflection in your glasses, the horizon going by.
Yeah.
It's super spacey.
It does, Mark. Yeah. Yeah, we're big.
Oh, here we go. So, yeah, and that's the other thing, there's a lot of people that came out. It's really nice to put people, there's a lot of Hash Church supporters that came out. So imagine like you watch 120 episodes or 100 episodes, and we finally get to meet for the first time. It's going to take a few minutes to say hello,
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's, I always say it's the trippy thing of someone having seen 100 of your videos, but you having seen none of theirs. So they literally know you, bro. They're like, I know you, Tony. Remember when Ola shit all over that was, you're like, what the fuck, were you?
Yeah, this guy yesterday said, I've been watching since about episode 12. I'm like, Jesus.
It's awesome. It's very cool, man. It's a very neat thing to meet people who are inspired by this. And I just love hearing the stories of the things that they do, because people aren't just listening, they're acting, they're doing things based on the things they're hearing. So it's really cool. Yummy.
Yeah, we were, not to mention that there is, talk about like, if you want to look at how the industry is, look at the participation in the Emerald Cup as far as the flowers.
699 people?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, like, what's funny is they have this like hall of flowers, and you go over and they have like your concentrates and your topicals and your cards, and you can see everybody's stuff, and you're like, oh, you try to pick yours out like it's a newborn baby. Oh, there's mine. There it is. That's mine. But then there's like this huge wall of flowers, and like the most confused men ever looking at it, and they're just like, what the? And they're like detailed into each out where it is. There's like hundreds and hundreds of buds, so you have to go through like rows and rows and little. You got to go through it all. It's like like how it would be to be a flower judge.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? You have to judge all 699, or do they have it broken up into categories?
They break them up into groups, and groups pick
Thank
like
God.
top 50s, and then those top 50s go to 200, and then that 200 gets broken down, and it takes several weeks. It's pretty intense. From what I hear, a pretty
couple
intense
ounces of flour a day.
Yeah, it's a couple ounces of flour a day for like weeks.
Marcus and me could do it in 4 or 5 hours, Marcus.
You know what? It depends on how much food we ate, but yeah, give or take an hour.
You only need a couple pulls.
We would sift it all right off the bat. We would sift everything.
Sift it, then smoke it, decide.
Flowers.
Yeah, and sift it all into one big pile.
And randomly pick some numbers?
Yeah, just puff it all and be like, you know, I think I tasted a little bit of B in that one.
That's so funny.
I give it a 4. I'm not a very good, I don't know. Even I've always even had a hard time at Legends, like just judging. I'm just like, man, I just want to smoke this shit.
When we started having more than 20 killer entries, then yeah, it just, you can't do it in a single night. You've got to have a couple days.
Well, don't get me wrong, you can do it, and we did do it, but Jesus
It wasn't
Christ.
humanly possible,
No.
but we did do it.
Yeah, what I liked more so was not only did we do it, right afterwards, we got in line and smoked that hubbly bubbly 5 or 6 times in a row. Which to me was, whew, I'll tell you.
So I'll tell you one of the coolest things last night, last night we had to wait in this Marley concert, and Damian Marley, when we got in, we went to the back, and who was that? What was that cruise? Who we smoked?
We Should Smoke.
We
Ozzy.
Should Smoke.
Ozzy,
Yeah.
I think
There's a cat named Ozzy from We Should Smoke in the back. He had these like little rolling trays. And there was a guy that came up to me, and he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "Can I take a picture with you with this emerald background?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure." And we were taking this picture, and this girl kept trying to take the picture of us and kept messing up. So we took like 25, 30 pictures together, you know, on this phone. And he's like, "Yeah, I've been watching you guys on Hash Church forever, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Oh, it's just nice to meet you." And I'm like, "Well, don't go anywhere. I mean, you know, like, come over here." I was like, "We just so happen to have like a jar full of strawberry banana goo flowers that we're going to load up. And then we've got some of the rosin that won high times thing." And then I said, "I got some terps of it. We could give you a terp dip, you know, just line you up." And that's like the best moments for me at these events. You give somebody their first, like, the best shit I possibly have, just to somebody that's like a fan that's been following, and then they get to be able to have that experience.
Yeah, dude.
You know, hit it, and then connect the connection through the plant, and the feeling that you have. And I know Mark knows what that's like. When you play music with somebody, you get this like different kind of connection with that soul. You know? And that connection is what these events are supposed to be about. You know, when you both connect, you're like, you feel.
And that's hard. You know, what you just talked about, that's like, you can try to force it, but you really can't. It has to be natural. And you were just like in the right vibe to meet that guy. Now imagine the same guy comes hours later. You are so spent. You've had shit ripped off. You've given away 100 grams. Your fucking feet hurt. You didn't eat anything. You're about to pass out. And you just want to put your shit away. And then that guy comes up and says the wrong thing. Like, "Oh, I waited all this time and I don't get a dab?" And then he meets the other Tony. I've had that shit happen at my booth so many times because, listen, I'm great for the first 800 people, but the 801th guy, when I'm like, "Oh shit, dude, I'm sorry, it's got to be later," and then he's angry because he waited. I'm just like, bro, you think you've waited?
I've had that. I feel like I've grown a long way because I had that happen yesterday, where I went from like 2:30 to 8:30 straight, no bathroom breaks, just a little bit of water between it. Somebody was nice enough at Harborside, Jess. She went and got me some food, and people were talking to me from the left, the front, and the right at the same time.
Oh,
and I just kept eating right. I had to eat right through it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm eating. I have to eat, like, because I'll lose it if I don't eat. And that's like key. You know, I got to get food in me. But at the very end, I had a migraine. I wanted to throw up, and I packed everything up. And this really nice girl, she was like, "Oh, you were really nice to me earlier, and everything was really good." And then she wanted one more dab, and you know, I pulled it all back out for her though. I was like, all right. But if I hadn't eaten, you're right, I could have like not been able to like really function. But I pushed myself to where I had a full migraine and had to like detach. It was a long stretch.
Nice. Welcome back, Todd. Tony's just on his way into the Emerald Cup. Doing that HOV lane.
What'd you think about it?
That's the whole reason that I'm trying to drive all my friends. Oh, look at Tony. Hey, everybody. Here, you sit in the seat.
Jim.
How you doing, ATN?
Hey, welcome, Jim.
Love you, buddy.
Mark, good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Been following ATN's travel ventures. Great pictures.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Howdy, Jim.
Who else we got here?
Sam.
Sam?
Yes.
Oh, Sam. He's in
Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam. Okay.
Yeah, he's the little, I don't know where he is actually.
Right. Can I call him Dave?
He's the Sam I am.
Jingles. Yes, you can call him Jingles.
Call him anything. Just don't call him late for dabs.
How you doing, Jim? You having fun?
I am. I'm pretty well considering, and still interested. Still curious.
You know, you got to go way back to call Sam Jingles. That's
back in the late 70s, right?
taking it way back.
He was also Selmage, which was Jingles spelled backwards, you know.
Yes, I remember selling it.
I can't believe you fucking publicly outed me. and you know, I was thinking of, you know, going back into that persona.
Oh geez, the best was when Indra was getting called out by all these different people, and they were like, "You weren't the guy that released the BHO. It was this guy, Free John, and this other guy," and they named off like 6 names, and he's like, "Those are all my names. Those are all, I'm all of those people."
Right.
Classic.
Well, I've only had the one name all this time.
You know, I had one name before Bubble Man in like 1998 or 99, right before I started the company. I came out on Cannabis Culture Forum as Tripper. And that was actually, I had a cat named Tripper.
Right.
And I just picked that name, and there's actually a video from the original Pot TV days when Pot TV was in Mark Emery's basement, and it was for the longest time, for years, over a decade, it was the most watched video on Pot TV. And it was me and Barge, if you guys remember Barge, the photographer who moved to Switzerland. It was Tripper and Barge Bubble Hash Extravaganza. It was pretty little part of our history there. I remember because the Green Warrior, or no, the Dirt Warrior, who was this really good editor. He was a good film editor, and I think he ended up doing a film of his own. He was there to promote his film to Mark, but Mark was kind of, I believe, hitting on Renee Boget at the time because she had just left the Todd McCormick, Peter McWilliams, California bust that happened. She ran up to Canada, so Mark was kind of hitting on her, and because of it, this guy who was waiting for Mark had to help us film this video. Well, he edited the entire video. He filmed the whole video, all because Mark, was taking a long time doing the flirting thing at the time. So a little bit of our history there for Hash Church people.
Hey, Mel, so what's new in the world of Mel Frank?
I'm still going along. I just visited D&H's, one of D&H's greenhouses. That was great to meet them. I don't really know much about the seed industry because I've always just done my own seeds, but it was interesting to see what they have going on there. and how they go about it. And actually, I'm supposed to interview them for Cannabis Business Times, which is one of these newer magazines targeting the industry. So I've taken some photographs, and now it's a matter of doing the conversation where we can record it, and then, of course, edit it, get a transcript edited, and that sort of thing. So
Nice.
I could do it now, but I think I'd rather do it outside of the Emerald Cup sometime when we're not distracted. I mean, this is probably my last Emerald Cup. Maybe not, but it may be. So I'd rather just be at the cup.
Well, glad that you're there enjoying it in all its glory. I hear that it's pretty big this year.
Yeah, I know people called me and said that it was sold out. At least the single tickets were all sold out.
Wow. Nice opportunity with DNA as well. You can't really do much better. Those guys are on it right now. They're absolutely on fire. They're great guys to hang out with.
No,
I mean,
great guys. No,
They're at the event. I saw them both yesterday.
Yeah, very welcome.
We
Welcoming.
smoked and
And the growth that I saw, I mean, the plants were beautiful, perfectly healthy, really nice plants, all going to concentrates. And of course, the buds and colas could have easily been in a dispensary, but they said nope. But that's kind of the way the industry is going. I mean, there's going to be a small piece of the action for really good flowers that I think will last for quite a while, but the majority is going to go to concentrates in one form or another.
well, it makes sense, considering it's those concentrates that even make the flowers great.
Yeah, right. Yeah, one of the things they were doing was, rolling a blunt and then going over to the flowers and just kind of rolling it against there, getting it, some more resin on the outside, as if the buds weren't enough.
it tastes and smells fragrant when you do that every time after decades. Yeah, roll joints on the flowering plants and get and it's just glistening with, smells delicious. It burns slower. It tastes great.
Right.
I recommend everybody do that actually. But rub it on the little leaves that are coming off. They're just going to be trim leaves anyway. Yeah, so that don't take it off the bud. You take it off the trim. Yeah.
Well, I'm such a lightweight now. I don't need to do that. About 4 pokes is all I need. I'm fine.
Man, that's nice though. I mean, come on.
That is nice. Yeah, lower tolerance is good for you.
I'm over here hitting my Taurus like a crackhead.
Well, how many books did you write, Jim? How many books did you end up putting out over the last 40 years?
Well, 3 of my own, and I published a couple of other books. Rob Clark's Ashish, and I published another book on labor quotations.
Labor?
Yeah, it's because my family were union organizers back in the 30s and 40s.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, what were the 3 titles on?
well, there was Hashish. Oh, the 3 titles for me?
Your 3 titles.
Well, the first one, we did not name. That was one that basically I written an article for sale. I was trying to make the rent back in '71, and that was published by Rolling Stone's New York section. That was a 2-part series on how to grow marijuana in the New York City apartment. And I met Ed through that. The publisher put him in contact with me, and Ed wanted us to write a book. And I wasn't too hot on the idea, but he pestered me for about a year. And then we took the article, we kind of flushed it out, and off he went. And he found a publisher in California about a year later. Came back, had this book, and I was in college at the time, and was very interested in marijuana, and decided I was going to do the best I could on it, history, chemistry, all that. And that's when Marijuana Grows Guide Deluxe came out in '77. And then I did the Insider's Guide in '88. I did Rob Clark's book in '98, the second edition in 2010.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, those books were so different than anything else that was on the market at the time. I mean, you really took a very scientific look into what made you decide to do the nutrient deficiency test that you did. That was a real intricate thing.
The nutrient deficiencies, well, I was learning nutrient deficiencies just from them cropping up and finding out what cured them and that sort of thing. I actually did a whole thing hydroponically, early '90s, where I took a couple of hundred shots, and I had sulfur, which I had never seen, really kind of definitive. And I had 6 rolls of Kodak film. and they had it developed, and they fucked up every single roll. They left out one of the dyes, so they came out all orange. Beautiful images, all orange. So I mean, you need the right color if you're going to do nutrient deficiencies. And that really took the wind out of my sails for a while too, because a lot of those photographs were supposed to be in the, what is it, diseases?
Have diseases and pests, right? McFarland,
McFarland and Clark.
Watson. Yeah.
So I was doing the nutrient deficiencies and like said, hey, you know, it was terrible. So.
But that, I mean, that was the first work that really showed people what the actual deficiencies were. I don't think most people had seen them until that point in time. Yeah. It was seminal work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it was cool.
But, you know, there wasn't much before, let's say, the late 60s. There was like nothing. I mean, all I found was 1908, you know, USDA hemp, how to plant hemp. Another one was from like 1893. And there really wasn't much else out there that you could find. I mean, you know, scientific papers. But then when, you know, America started really smoking in the 60s, that's when the government got worried about it and they started the University of Mississippi, where they're still growing government marijuana there. And they started coming out with a lot of the chemistry, right? Identifying the different cannabinoids and that sort of thing, and aligning them with different cultivars from around the world. So that was a whole bunch of stuff that I could get my hands on. And then you could find little studies here and there. There was one in about potency related to temperature, right, which was done in England. It was a nice little study. So I started finding those studies in the early 70s. And basically, I had over 300 and something papers by the time we actually published the Rose Guide Deluxe in the 70s. And you know, I just, every time I would go to a city, I would go to the libraries and see what I could find, medical libraries, science libraries, botanical libraries, and just go there with nickels in my pocket, you know, to photocopy them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't like the internet now where you can go on and find anything except you don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to tell somebody one time that, you know, the difference was, for me, there was so little out there, but what was out there was scientific stuff, you know? It wasn't a bunch of bullshit, whereas today, you have this tremendous amount of information, but you have to be able to discern what's bullshit and what isn't. So much of it is. So it's a completely opposite thing from what I had to deal with.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I have people come and they tell me just outrageous things. I say, really? I said, it's not true. They say, oh, no, I saw it on the internet. Oh, you know.
So you developed a relationship with the UMass guys. Was it Carlton Turner that was there when you were?
Yes, Carlton Turner.
Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, Carlton, he was a nice guy, and actually he did one good thing is that he did testify before the Mississippi legislature about reducing the penalties on marijuana and making it a fine. Also, the amount, I think he increased it to like 2.8 ounces, something like that. And really tried to get them to focus on cocaine. So, but yeah, he used to warn us, because I went there with Ed too, you know, be careful here, you know, you get arrested for this, and Ed and I'd be smoking on the way out of the college system, you know, we smoked our way across the country.
And what I can remember about that, Jim, was that we had some analysis done. I think they were 3 varieties from you, and sent them off to Mississippi, and the one with the highest THC was not the one we liked the best.
Oh, I can believe that, yeah. Yeah.
That was one of the first lights in the directions pointing at terpenes maybe being a key factor.
Well,
but, you know, just a very, very scratching the surface of that.
Well, here's the thing. You know, he called me like at the end of, I think it was 77, maybe, somewhere around there. He called me in the winter. He wanted me to collect Sinsemilla, and with seeds. He says, yeah, get some seeds from this Sinsemilla stuff, because we've heard it's really potent and we want to test it. And he said, can you do that and collect those and send them to me? And I said, sure, if you give me a complete, you know, cannabinoid analysis of each one, I'll do that for you. What I didn't tell him that is I didn't go collecting anything in the middle of the winter in California. I just went up to my crop, my last crop in my greenhouse, and I had already done all that. I already had a seeded bud from all the plants that I had grown. And so I just selected a bunch out. I gave them a Afghani one. I gave them a Congolese, a Nigerian, a Thai, a Cambodian, and then a Mexican, which was also really incredibly lucky in that year. I took a Mexican plant and I topped it and I got about 8 colas, pretty much all the same. And I decided I'm going to save these. I'm going to harvest them in a different week. And someday I'm going to have them tested and I'll have this. Well, he just tested them all for me. He didn't know it. I just set them right there. So I actually was able to make a curve in terms of the rise of THC and a slight decline at the end of the harvesting. It also showed me that I was harvesting it really right at the right time in terms of the peak. The funny thing, going back to Dave and the terpenes and that sort of thing, is the reason I wanted the cannabinoids and get the cannabinoid profiles is to try to figure out why we were getting different highs, right? And because at that time, at least I thought it was these combinations of different cannabinoids.
It wasn't just you. It wasn't just you, Jim. That's what everybody thought.
Yeah, right. So when I got it back, I had already given out member joints to all my friends who were like, really good smokers. And they were giving back little written reports about how it was, how long it lasted, the high and all this stuff. And I was going to correlate that with the cannabinoid profiles I got from Turner. Of course, none of it made any sense at all. But it's funny looking back at it. The other thing I have to tell you about meeting Carlton Turner and that group, when I first met them, when I first was going there, I thought, I'm going to meet my mentors. I'm going to be able to ask them all these questions. And I got there, they didn't know shit about growing. They really didn't. They didn't know anything. And I realized after about 20 minutes, I'm telling them a lot more than I'm getting from them.
So, Jim, were you at the facility in Oxford?
Yes, they wouldn't show it to us, though.
Oh, okay, because they invited me later. That I was on the property.
Yeah, the last time I went there, I went to their library. I was looking up stuff, and I noticed they had the deluxe in their, in their Dewey Decimal System or whatever it is. And I went to find it. It was gone. And I came back, and they said, yeah, it must have been stolen. I said, those books are always stolen. And I actually found that in other libraries, too. That was never there.
Carlton Turner was gone, and it was being operated by Dr. Mohammed Asole.
Yeah. He actually went on to become the drug advisor to Reagan for a while.
I remember that Carlton did that.
Yeah, and see what good that did.
Yeah.
How awesome is it that D420K is just like dry sifting while we're all talking right now? I'm really like appreciating that, just to let you know, Dan.
Well, I think the reason he's doing it is he wants to try to send 10 grams to each person who's watching in Hash Church today.
All the panelists, at least.
He's keeping the hash in the
in
church.
Canada, I would absolutely love to.
I'll take a flight later today.
Okay.
Hey guys, did y'all hear? I just got this today. I got the IACM, International Association of Cannabinoid Medicines Bulletin, and this one I hadn't seen, which is I think worth discussing. It's under Science and Human. Cannabis use in cancer patients halved their risks to die in hospital. Cannabis use was associated with a 59% reduced risk to die in a hospital. For cancer patients, risk to die in a hospital was reduced by 56% among cannabis users compared to non-users. That's a new analysis that just came out this morning. That's quite significant. And the researchers were at the University of Northern Colorado, Colorado State University, and the University of Alabama. The database included over 3.9 million hospital patients, of whom 387,608 had a diagnosis of cannabis dependence or cannabis usage.
Cannabis usage.
So halving the cancer risk of dying in a hospital is quite significant just upon cannabis usage.
Well, Al Robinson in the chat room says, that's why I've beat cancer twice now.
Fucking A, good for you, man. And anybody else, and like Todd, who survived cancer. That's quite a significant thing, Todd, don't you think? I mean, you've known it yourself through your own usage, but now to actually have data to back it up, that's significant.
I think it's utterly fantastic. I mean, so many people
You know, the rates when I first started really researching cannabis was like in the early 90s, and it was 1 in 3, and they were predicting that by 2000 it would be 1 out of 2 people affected with cancer. And we're seeing the rate skyrocket, and cannabis has been coming through and helping so many people with so many elements of the cancer condition, from anti-nausea to appetite stimulation to antidepressant to sleeping through the night. All of this stuff equates into making people more healthy. And, you know, I can understand it being a real, not a crutch, but a bridge to get people out of the hospital rooms and into their own homes. I think it's fantastic.
I just published it. I put it up in the Hesh Church Facebook.
You know, more people listening that use cannabis should talk to their physicians. And, you know, 20 years ago, Bernard Bruning of Positronics started a program called MediWeed, where he basically went to the coffee shops union and said, hey, let's sell to half price to people that have medical prescriptions in order to encourage our customer base to talk to their doctors and to start the communication about how it's helping them.
Awesome. Gotta love Bernard.
I know my doctors have been incredibly ignorant about it, really.
Yeah. I had a doctor call me yesterday through my Blue River number, and he's from New Jersey. I'm not sure what kind of doctor he was, but man, I talked to this guy for about 40 minutes he's just like, man, nobody knows about this endocannabinoid system. What, you know, like he had some form of some disease that he's maintained with this cannabis oil. His wife had cancer that they put into remission with cannabis oil. And it was just neat to be able to educate this doctor. And I said to him, I said, you know, I mean, it's a crazy world we live in where I'm educating you on this right now. You're a medical doctor. You should be educating. I'm like, honestly, the reason I'm spending time with you right now is so that you can go and educate your doctor friends about what I'm telling you, because they absolutely will not listen to me.
Right, but there's no paths in any of the medical schools that are teaching any of the stuff that we're really discussing right now, which is really what is sad. I mean, but take it a step further. Very few medical schools teach nutrition.
Exactly.
And that's even more disturbing.
Yeah.
Right, hospital food sucks. We all joke about it. But shouldn't it be the best place in town to eat?
Yeah, it should be the best food in the world.
Most nutritious, balanced, smartest nutritionist there, and instead they're giving you schlop, and then they're giving you pills, and they're going, I'm not sure why it's not working.
Also, the quality of the air you breathe in a hospital has got to be up there with some of the lowest quality. Like, it's not good. It's not a good environment.
It breeds lung infections and pneumonia. I mean, how many people do you know have gone into a hospital and ended up with pneumonia along the way? Way too fucking many.
Hospitals are where sick and dying people go.
That's right.
We should give credit to people like Fred Gardner for publishing O'Shaughnessy's.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Great. Everybody,
absolutely.
If you don't know
We do.
O'Shaughnessy's, go find it online. It's the California Clinicians Journal, essentially.
Hey, also,
lots of great information in there.
Also, the search for CBD varieties. I mean, they're really the ones that got it going.
That's right.
Project CBD.
Project CBD, right?
Yeah, they've definitely been pushing forward for years now with some great information.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's up to all of us to re-educate our neighbors and our brothers and our sisters and our you know, extended relatives. It's really, you know, there's no way they're going to learn unless we take the time to teach them what we've learned.
That's it. And go ahead, Mel.
Really into it now are the elderly because of the chronic pain, right? Because I get calls all the time now from people that I don't know. They just know somebody I know, and they call me about, you know, getting marijuana, asking me about marijuana, getting prescriptions, all that.
Dealing with chronic pain without the side effects could be a potentially huge thing. And I'm sure if most of them knew that cannabis was also a preventative medicine and that they could be avoiding such things like heart disease and diabetes and stroke, which are three of the big sort of take you out as you get older. All of this from me, my information learned from Dr. David Allen, who was one of the first doctors I knew that phoned around to all of the medical schools in the US and asked them if they were teaching about the endocannabinoid system. So when you hear that none of those schools teach about the endocannabinoid system, he literally phoned every single one of them to prove that and find that out. So just shocking.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that it isn't taught. I mean, it would be one of the most pervasive systems in the human body.
Yeah.
Right up there with nutrition.
And it's only been recently discovered as the endocannabinoid system, so that there's access for doctors to do stuff like that. I've been putting local clinicians with Stanford doctors through a friend of mine recently, because they want to reach out to understand medical cannabis on a different level than what they've been told. And these doctors are actually going out and visiting dispensaries or visiting other doctors and discussing to a point where they actually want to have a little convention for doctors, because they realize how much information and misinformation is out there, that they need to come together as professors and doctors and push this level forward. So it's very encouraging. I've been doing whatever I can to help, these Stanford doctors find, the knowledge in those people who can actually help push this forward, so that it's no longer a discussion, it's action.
But it's an odd situation when doctors have to become educators to their peers, because the information is not being presented by the educators that are giving them degrees.
And that's why we're trying to support them, because these doctors are taking the self-initiative. So we want to put them in touch with the right knowledge, so that they're actually getting success with this knowledge, as opposed to just hearsay and conjecture.
Someone's mentioning don't blame the doctors because you don't like laws. We're not blaming the doctors. The doctors just aren't taught. So it's, it's not their fault that they're not taught, but it is something that they're not taught. Therefore,
what really needs to happen is there needs to be published scientific medical articles and clinical trials which show the benefits for a wide range of problems people have. And when that's done, then it will be turned around worldwide.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think that we are the key, because when doctors see the change happen in their patients and experience it happening in front of their eyes, they believe what they see. And for me, my doctors, even back in the 70s, they were not closed-minded. They were very open-minded as to what was happening and how it was helping me. They just needed to experience it. And when they saw the difference between, chemotherapy and then no joint, and then chemotherapy and a joint, that they got it quicker than anyone could.
I put a link to the O'Shaughnessy's Journal in the Hash Church Facebook as well.
Well, we've had Fred on before, and we'll definitely have him on again.
He was on a panel yesterday at the Emerald Cup when we kind of rolled in. He was up there speaking.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, it's nice to see. I'll look forward to seeing some of those panels once they get uploaded and after the event is over. And maybe, just maybe, 2017 will be my first Emerald Cup.
I hope so.
At that point, I'll be hoping that Mel extends his last Emerald Cup and he's like, well, okay, I'll do one more.
One more.
Oh, hang out with Bubble Man for a bit.
Next year is the first year that won't have to have a 215 area.
Wow.
That's
well, actually, yes, it will. It's because it'll be before the January 1st, 2018. So I think it possibly maybe the year after.
Is that not for direct sales, or is that's the direct sales? That's not for events.
I don't know. You may be right, but
We're gonna go with don't know.
Yeah, I think at that point nobody's gonna care.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Yeah, 12 months from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might see the fake doctors and the internet fucking doctor visits fucking floating away. People just being adults, smoking weed,
doing their things when it's not such a big issue. Imagine what would we all be doing if they just were like, if every one of us got to use it and have it and do anything we wanted with it as we wanted, like no weird stipulations, no limitations, no, just here you go, have it. It'd be interesting to see what would happen in the next 10 years.
I think it's going to make the world a better place. I keep telling everybody else that's crying about corporate cannabis to just shut up. Because you know what? If society had it next to their tobacco and alcohol, they'd all be a lot chiller. They'd all be a lot calmer. They'd all be a lot cooler. They'd all be having a lot better of a life if they had access to even shitty quality cannabis and they were getting these cannabinoids in their system. If the ECS is so important these poor people are literally living without vitamins and minerals.
It's pretty much a fact, because even when I get together with friends that I don't see very often, they're heavy drinkers. It's kind of what they do. You know, the minute I get there, I'll dab them all out after they have a couple of drinks, and the drinking just slows right down. And they, even if you know, go camp with some of these guys for a few days, you can see it. If I don't puff them down, they drink to the point where it's a little scary. And if I just puff them down, the drinking just peters out, and they just kind of go off to bed early. And it's I see that literally. And they even say later, they'll be like, man, I'll tell you, I drink less when you've got that stuff. I like that stuff. It's like, yeah, no shit, dude. You're trapped in this like alcoholic beverage of depression. You think it's making you feel better, but it's making you feel shittier in the long run. Of course you're stoked to drink less of it. And you see them in the next morning in a better mood. They're like, they don't have the same level of hangovers. They're able to, you know, get out and go dirt bike riding or fishing or whatever it is they want to do when we're camping. But I see it on a small level be very much the truth of what you're saying right now, Todd.
Right. You know, when I lived in LA, I was hanging out with a lot of stand-up comics, and they would say straight up, they were faced with either when they go on the road, they drank more, or they had to smuggle their weed everywhere they went and risk arrest. Because if they didn't have their weed, they inevitably were at the bar with their friends, having a couple drinks to relax at the end of the set. But if they had their weed, they were out back by the dumpster smoking out. And the next day, they were a lot more functional. They didn't have the hangovers. You know, the road wasn't as hard on them. But without the weed, the booze was it.
Yeah, the other thing is the alcohol, for some people, really brings out the worst in them.
Let's be honest, for most.
Yeah.
Well,
At least give them enough.
Yeah.
The Santa Rosa, there's no checkpoint stopping any of those tens of thousands of people from leaving. And in all the years they've had it, I don't know of any problems they've ever had.
Yeah.
You know, they're not treating the cannabis culture at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds any different than they would treat, you know, any other event. And it's really refreshing to have that kind of just hands-off, let it be vibe. And I think, you know, shout out to all the people putting the Emerald Cup together, because they're not just putting on an event. They are really instilling an inspirational way it can be everywhere to everybody that walks in and sees it. Like, you will never go back to believing any of the bullshit after you walk through the Emerald Cup and you see the kind faces and the innovation and the openness. That's what you're going to want to be among.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, when you talk to the guards at any one of these cups, they always tell you it's the easiest job in the world. There's never any trouble. Never any trouble, they say.
Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I got to admit, it's true. I've been to enough of them over the years that I have I've seen the tiniest little things, and they couldn't even be construed as real trouble, because no assaults, no punching, no people getting arrested, no like people cry, like just like no, maybe a little heated argument, all right, it's over. But like, let's be honest, that's not the case at pretty much anything that has alcohol. Whether it's a sports game or a concert or whatever, if there's booze there, it's likely that someone's going to get up in arms at one point in time in the evening.
Yeah, but the Santa Rosa community and Sonoma County in general, I mean, have really been so cool about the event. It's something you don't see any other place. They're so supportive. Like Todd said, there's no DUI checkpoints. There's no harassing people about having herb. It's really open, and it's really incredible.
Yeah, it's a really solid marijuana community.
Yeah.
And that comes out. That really comes out. Yeah. I mean, when we were in the Holland Cups, the cops come through and they search for 5 grams. When we're in Cannabis, every 10 minutes comes over the thing, no fumant, you know, basically no smoking, and you're standing in a big cloud of smoke. And to have none of that happening, just, you know, cops walking around smiling and walking around. It's just
Humboldt County put it perfect. He's like, yeah, dude, I mean, sure, the odd times someone might be chasing down Matt Rise, but other than that was funny.
Well, you know what, though, even that, you know, it seems like people are pretty chill about it. You know, they come out and have fun, and Cannabis cuts through that, you know. That Bill Hicks stand-up routine where, you know, pot should be mandatory, and, you know, smoke this, you know, sorry.
Here.
Seriously. That really comes through, you know, and
you're taking life too seriously.
A lot of happy people at this event.
Well, it's awesome. I'm sure there'll be wonderful people filming with all sorts of different cameras, and we'll see some beautiful edits in the upcoming weeks once it's over.
Ryan's on doing a panel today, yeah? What time?
No, I'm not on it today.
Oh, my bad. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Dabs were good. What can I say?
That was good. We gotta give a shout out to the crew from Frankenstein Extracts who we saw out there.
I did. Those were
Okay,
cool.
cool. Yeah,
Hey, is Rob doing a panel today?
yeah, Rob's in the terpene panel. He's cultivating for terpene.
Who's on that panel with him?
Oh, I'm not even sure. We'd have to look it up online. It's all listed on the cup. It's the emeraldcup.com
I'll check it out.
website. But yeah, we're gonna see Rob.
Yeah, we can go see Rob. No, for sure. He's supportive of our friend. We saw Tom Alexander there yesterday. That was absolutely cool as hell. He's been a hero to mine forever.
I didn't recognize him in Vegas. You have to tell me who it was.
Ah!
Oh God, it's you, Tom.
No, that's he's been the literary hero to me through the 80s and into the 90s. I coveted every issue of Sensimillia Tips.
It was much more worthwhile than High Times was.
Classification. Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
It's Rob Clark, Jeremy Plum from Pharma in Oregon, Josh Werzer, who's from SC Labs, Jeff Raber from the Workshop, and Kevin Jodry. So it should be a good panel.
I definitely want to see that.
Very cool.
I think work just opened up in Monrovia. You know, a new lab. Pretty sure that it's open by now. He told me it's going to be open by December.
Cool.
Very,
It's
very
been a while
cool.
since it's been business.
Yeah, down here at least. They were in Washington, I guess, for a
Yeah,
while.
in Washington, but yeah, in Pasadena they got
Did they have that problem solved? Those charges went away, or the investigation was kind of tied up?
I really don't know, but I have the feeling that what happened is that they've never really arraigned them or anything like that.
They haven't pursued it.
Yeah. I know somebody else who was busted maybe 2 years before, and he was legal, you know, collective, all that stuff. They just took all his shit and, you know, never returned it, never arraigned him, or anything on.
Yeah.
But it stopped him for like, you know, was it 2 or 3 years before he can get back in the business?
For sure.
So, right.
Sometimes that's their point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Jeff Raber is a hard guy to, I mean, you can't really paint him as a cannabis kingpin. He's a scientist, and he's clearly a scientist.
Yeah, he's a
so,
PhD in organic chemistry.
Yeah.
USC.
And he really was making, I mean, yeah, they were making extracts, but they really were doing formulations and making medicine.
Yeah.
And quantifying, you know, what was in people's extracts so they could make better medicine. So,
yeah, he has a patent on the terpene procedure in terms of putting it back into extracts. That was very good.
Oh, Tony says he's going to try and be inside the Emerald Cup from 12 to 1, and he's got his dual headsets, and he's going to do some pressing. So I guess we'll finish off Hash Church with kind of like we'll all be at the Emerald Cup for a little bit. That'll be kind of a nice, fun hour, just walking around and letting him do his thing.
I hope they put more videos online of the panels because they're fantastic, the people that they have coming out and speaking.
Dude, if I was there, I would be filming every one of those panels.
No, bro, for sure. Next year, for sure, Mark.
well, listen, there's 3 stages, so there's so many good panels. You have to pick and choose between.
Listen, I'll bring a fucking team. I will film all the stages.
Yeah, it's a good idea because I mean they do film them, but they don't put them all up. So
yeah,
there's a lot of good information that gets put out at those things for sure.
Well, I could even talk to Tim because if he has access to them, I'll gladly put them on my channel, like happily link all of them up and get the information out there. So if any of you guys that are there end up talking to Tim, I know he's busy as hell, or the video people, I would gladly offer the channel to put up some of those videos. I have no problem doing that.
They had an Emerald Cup channel on YouTube, but now it's gone. So I don't know. There's something going on with that for sure.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe they're doing a CD or something or a DVD. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the production, overall production of the event is really it's so polished. I mean, it's really great how they've laid it out. And
how long have they been doing this now?
About 6, 7. This is well, The Emerald Cup really grew organically. What started as a small kind of, event for themselves, really has turned into a holy shit, bring the world, and show them how it's done. And it's fantastic. So the growth of it's been slow. The High Times Cannabis Cup started off as just Hager's Vacation. And, just had guys like Sam the Skunk Man and Neville and, back in the day before they opened it up in '94 to public. And a sort of similar situation happened with the Emerald Cup. It's not like we could be so open, No, the Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam opened the first year to the public in November of '94. Yes.
Really? I think I was a judge at that cup. I didn't know that was the first one. Was it
No,
94 or 96? I was
96.
96.
I was at Positronics that year when you came through. 2 years earlier was the first one. That was kind of small. But you saw the same thing because we did it at the PAX Party House. It's where I met Mark. Mark and I became friends on that first year. '95 is I met Mark.
Yep, '95 was a good year. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was a judge again. I think it was.
Great year for the Cannabis Cup.
Yeah, fantastic experience. Hats off to High Times. For what they did, they brought together the community from all over the world, and Hager played a big part in actually kind of directing what we would end up pursuing a lot of. No one's been copied more than the Cannabis Cup and the Cannabis.
It's unbelievable. There's cups everywhere.
Is there?
But you got to remember, the Harvest Festival in Santa Rosa was going for 24 years before the first Cannabis Cup.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is really amazing. It's nothing like a Cannabis Cup.
Jim, did you ever attend one of those up there in Santa Rosa?
No, I've just gone to the Emerald Cup. That's all. I never went to any of those others.
Rob,
the main thing that they all do in common is they bring us all together. Spanibus, Cannabisness. It doesn't matter where or what it is. It's really bringing them together, the community. And there's something about the Emerald Cup that brings together the best elements, in my opinion, of the community. The kindest smile on his faces are really up there, in my opinion. It's just so warm. Culturally, it's so warm. Everybody's so generous. There are so many people so proud of what they've grown and what they've created, and they're giving it away, and they want to show you, and they want to smoke you out. And it's just such a vibe of happy, generous people. And I think it's because it's cannabis. Cannabis, I've always felt it bad for people that, like, when they were 16, 17, 18, had to learn how to work in a situation where they received a minimum wage and they did the minimum amount of work for the minimum amount of pay. Because as a grower, I learned how to put the maximum amount of effort into what I was doing, because if I did an extra 100 plants, nature just hooked me up with an extra 100 plants worth of energy. No hesitation. And when you're in a situation and you're vibing with nature like that, it's easy to be generous and give away joints like I did throughout my life.
That's what I do with all my pot. Now I just give it away.
And you have. I still have pot and bags you've given me because I couldn't smoke it because you gave it to me. Yeah, I got to frame it. What I got to do.
It's a beautiful thing, giving away herbs. And you know what? It extends all over the world, because I'll never forget. I think maybe it was in was it in '98 that Trey in Vegas told everyone to go do stuff and just stop being on tour? He was like, you guys need to go do some shit. Like, this is cool that you're following me around and everything and my band, but go do some shit. Basically telling his audience, get a fucking life, okay? Concerts are great, but go do something. And from that message, what I got was, I'll go do what's a cool, worldly gathering where I can go hang out with puffers. And I came up with the Maha Kumbh Mela in northern India, which was millions of people go there. It had been happening for thousands of years, every 3 years in a different holy city. I think Haridwar in the north, and then Jaipur and Varanasi and Allahabad are the four. I don't know the order. I think Varanasi is at the bottom. But all these different events that happened throughout this country, I went there and had probably by far the biggest event I've ever been to, because millions of people were there. I think 3 or 4 million people pilgrimaged from all over India and walked to this event.
but I smoked charas from all over India and Nepal. I smoked with people from all over the world. It was a real, like, we hung out with Shivite Babas, so they were, all the conversation was always about ganja and, like, you know, much like this hash church vibe right now, much like it would be if you were hanging out with the Rastafarian Bobos or the Nyabingis in Jamaica. Just a really cool vibe. So it does extend outside of our North American version of getting together and hanging out and puffing. You have these cultures that have been doing this for a long, long time. It's one of the things I appreciated about the Legends of Hash experience, was being able to puff on Sid's Hubbly Bubblies was an honor. Those were like old pipes that came from this culture of serious fucking puffing. I'm not talking about taking a dab. I'm talking about like the most over the top, like, oh yeah, it's like a chillum except times 10. You know, lighting a chillum, it's like that, but
Makes
times.
you sweat.
Oh my God, those guys were
sweating.
Guys were gnarly, man.
It was awesome.
So gnarly.
They don't let you take photographs at that hash event. You could show people pictures of the Hubbly Bubbly.
No photos.
No photos.
Listen.
Great. Right on the invitation, no photos.
Yeah, like pretty much from the start. That was just one of the things. We didn't have many rules, you know. There were not many rules. It was like, you take a picture or light a cigarette, you're probably leaving Legends of Hash. Probably not going to be.
Or light a cigarette.
Or light a cigarette. The only one that lit something that wasn't hash, that didn't get kicked out, was Wally Duck when he lit his hair on fire from passing out unconscious on the table, and the flame grabbed his hair and flamed him up. Good old Wally Duck. Shout out to Wally Duck and the duck foot. You ever seen any herb so strange in all your life? You guys familiar with the duck foot?
No, but I've got my own duck foot variety.
Sam, you must have seen Wally Duck's duck foot strain, the weird trippy leaf. It doesn't even look like a cannabis plant.
Absolutely.
Of course.
I've seen photographs of it, but I have my own duck foot variety.
Right. Yeah, Sam had a duck foot variety like 15, 20 years before that one came out. So it's a common mutation that exists in the gene pool.
Yeah.
I believe it. I just know that it was Wally Duck who really sort of popularized it through the internet of photographing it and showing it.
Right. I never mentioned it at all, except for I just had it. That's all.
Yep. Well, you don't mention half the shit you have. We know that.
Right. That's mentioned in the scientific papers, though, on the publications on the chemotypic inheritance of cannabis.
There you go. That's a good
I
idea.
think you're right about that.
Oh, looks like Tony's walking into the Emerald Cup. I feel like we're going to the Emerald Cup right now. I like this.
Yeah, we're going to do that ourselves pretty damn soon.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. How far are you guys away from it?
90 minutes with traffic.
Oh, okay.
It's a pleasant
3.5 hours in line to get in.
Oh, John.
Hey, John.
There he
I was
is.
just going to say, that sounded like Indra.
Yeah,
Nice meeting you finally last night, John.
Say again?
3.5
It was really
hours.
nice meeting and smoking with you last night, bro.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself thoroughly hanging out with you guys at 10, Todd and everybody who was there. It was the meeting a bunch of new people.
What time did you get home? It must have been pretty late.
I'm not even smoking. I just woke up. It was so... What was really amazing was every single booth I went to, I tried to go in and pick out some of the nicer things to buy samples. And I would be there, and one guy, I was buying some heads, you know, just the, you know, bubble hash kind of scenario, just with the heads. And it was $100 for a gram. So I decided I'm going to buy one because I've never actually had 99%, or not that I know of. So I handed him a $100 bill, and I said, "Here you go." And he goes, "Hey, your voice sounds really familiar." And then his wife whispered in his ear, and then he says, "Hey, are you on Hash Church? Are you Indra?" And I said, "Yeah." And he handed me $100 back, and he wouldn't take any money. And I went probably to 20 different places last night. 18 of them recognized my voice immediately, would have nothing to do with accepting any money from me. And everybody piled me up with samples galore. I left there with so many. I think I had 30 different little press packets, and then I had 3 pockets full. People were just jamming handfuls of buds in my pocket.
Indra, you did sign the agreement. All the judges, I mean, all the panelists have to share their earnings from each day.
Yeah, well, I'll put them in a package and mail it off to you, pal. I don't. No.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
It was the best time ever. I never met so many sweet, loving, nice people at one blow in a long time. It'd been a long time since I've been to a really big event like that. And when one person at the booth would recognize my voice and say something, then everybody who was around the booth all wanted to shake my hand, pat me on the back, say hello. It was the best time ever, even though I'm severely crippled this morning from walking as much as I did. Todd came and he messaged me that they were at one end of the thing, so I got my cane and I walked down to that end. In the meantime, Todd had gone to the other end looking for me.
Oh.
And so we completely missed each other. And finally, we found a place where I would go and sit and wait in the grandstands. And then Todd and the N10 showed up. And I mean, it was just the party thing of the year. And meeting I met the guy who wrote the book, Kenneth Morrow, I guess, or wait a minute.
Yeah, Kenny from Trichomes, and also Rob Clark was there.
From Trichomes. We probably had a 2-hour talk, and Etienne was there. It was really great meeting up with Etienne. He was just everything I expected, and all big smiles, and everybody was, and it was just the best time ever. I tell you, I couldn't have gone again today. There's no way I could have survived it because my legs and feet are just from all the walking around. But meeting all the people who were there as well was just the greatest ever, you guys. I think.
Thank you for the gift also, John. I'm showing off your wonderful CBD.
Yeah, I gave Etienne some 88-to-1 CBD oil. We were all smoking it last night, and it is some good stuff, is it not?
Very much so. It was very helpful last night. I immediately was able to go to sleep.
Very nice.
Well, if I know that puts you to sleep every night, I'll keep you supplied from here on out. I didn't realize that you weren't.
Well, don't forget, send me your address for that torch tube. Get you all set up.
I'm stoked.
And then Etienne offered me, I was looking at this amazing goddamn Hitman piece of glass where it heats up the bowl and all the rest of the stuff. And my mind was blown. He was sitting there talking off this thing, and it was heating itself up and making itself ready. And I was just like, gee, many cripes. Did Santa leave that for you? This is one amazing pipe. And after taking a few tugs off it, he turns to me and he says, here's my card. He says, you reach out, give me your address, and I'll send you the one I had just before this that I don't use as much that I use now, which is another $800 pipe, I think, or something like that. And I was just floored. I didn't even know what to say at the time because generosity overwhelmed me. And
well, John, you've been putting out really good vibes to a lot of people, whether you know it or not, and they've absorbed those vibes. And to be able to get an opportunity to pass a little bit of it back, people are always super honored to be able to do that. I'm sure. I wish I could have been there to see all the people recognizing your voice and being stoked about meeting you. It's awesome.
I was so shocked when the guy said to me, "Hey, aren't you on Hash Church?" And then after I said, yeah, I was, and he didn't take the money, he's like, yeah. And then I heard a voice behind me, and I turned around, and there's like 30 guys standing there, all going, hey, man, and I'm going to shake your hand, and blah, blah, blah. And shit, it was just the best. It was the best day this year for me.
You see how that is? Why this happens to me, though? I just want you to see that. I went to the Emerald Cup with my buddy who I gave him my pass in my band, and I walk up to security and they don't let me in, but they let him in. That's what just happened. I'm not even shitting you. Now I gotta walk all the way fucking around this bullshit through the mud to go talk to some other person about the situation.
I'm
like, are you serious?
Yesterday they gave my girlfriend the wrong color wristband for going in the area that we were in, and we had to go all the way back and get the right color wristband. And yeah, it's just kind of like that, unfortunately.
That shit happens to me at Cannabis almost every year.
It was kind of insane because it was a 1 hour 45-minute wait in the line to get in. I mean, I got there at 10 o'clock and they didn't let us in till almost noon.
Jeez.
And then when I just thought, well, that's the end of standing in line because my feet are just done with on this, you know. When you're 70, standing up long periods of time is a little tougher. And then someone says, hey, let's go get in the line for 2:15. And I'm like, Ninja, please, are you shitting me? We have to get another line. And that was an hour and 20-minute line to get into that. And it was just insane. But by the time I did get into the 2:15 line, people had started gathering around and people started recognizing my voice from listening, I guess, on Ash Church all the time.
Hell yeah. Tony needs a segue.
Listen,
right.
I'm heading out. I'm heading out. I'm going to go get ready, everybody. Thanks again, Andrew. It was a pleasure. I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you, Mel, and everybody there at the Cup. See you in a bit.
Have a good day, Etienne. Hopefully Tony will get in sooner than later. This shit happens to me at Cannabis. I go to get in. I'm not going to go stand in a 4-hour lineup when I have a booth. I go to the back where the booth people go, and every fucking time they don't have my name. They don't have my shit. And I swear, like, quite a few years, the first day I just leave. I'm like, my buddy would be like, why didn't you show up? I'm like, they wouldn't let me in, and I'm not going to, like, fight to go into an event. It's Barcelona, man. There's lots of shit to do in the city. But I guess that he's in the middle of nowhere probably with just, like, a bunch of barns oh, no, he's in now. He's moving fast. You can tell he's delayed.
Yeah, I saw him at in the booth, the Harborside booth there, and he had about a 20-person line standing up to get dabs.
Hell
He was all covered in sweat, and there was like you could see sweat on the top of his head, and there was all kinds of people standing there.
Listen, you should have seen us in Jamaica last year in Negril. You want to talk about sweating? It was ridiculous. And we were not only dabbing people out, we were also pressing rosin with a manual rosin press. We didn't have like a hydraulic one like the one that he's showing right now with the foot pedal.
Hey, we're going to jump, guys. We wish you a happy day, too.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for coming on, Mel. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys again.
Peace, man. Welcome.
I'm going to give you an email. I got some questions for you.
Please do.
Hey, Todd.
Take it easy, everybody.
Take it easy, Chimera. Bye, Todd.
A new feature on this. You see this, Bubble Man?
Yeah, the cold.
Yeah, there's no heat here.
Is it even cold instead of no heat?
Yeah, it's cold.
Exactly.
This is just slightly warm, so you can put your magnets up here and not have to worry about your magnets heating up.
Right.
Magnets?
Pretty dope.
What's the magnet?
Yeah, I use magnets to hold my parchment up right here. It's a nice little trick. You just put your parchment here, put magnets right there.
Keeps the parchment out of the way. You can look and see what's going on as you open it. That unit looks nice, dude.
Yeah, that's the new unit. I got 2 of these.
Dude, I need to get one for sure.
I think one's going to Jamaica, man.
Yeah, man, I know it.
Yeah, man, this is it. This will probably be the one that's going there, actually.
Ah, yes, the CRD Squisher. Beautiful, really nice looking unit. They've really outdone themselves with the welding and the stand and everything. I like that.
See the new box too?
I think having it separated is a great idea in case you need to work on the electronics.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on, let me tie my shoe. At least I'm real.
Yeah, you're tying your shoe. We'll show D420K hashing it out.
Dude, I know I don't like Chinese companies for the most part. But day before yesterday, I got an offer from a Chinese company that makes really nice presses up to 3,300 pounds pressure, nice wide platen, all LED controlled. And they said if I would buy 25 of them, they would sell them to me for $256 each and $25 shipping. So I've been thinking about it.
I just thought of something. Oh, it's in there.
On the market.
I was like, holy shit, I didn't bring the Terps. And then I was like, oh no, they're in the bag. Hey, look at this. What's up? Look who I found.
What's going on, dude?
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Watch this, Bubble Man.
Oh yeah, Tony's gonna pull out the extra headphones because he's fucking on it. He's gonna have these guys dialed in. We're gonna be talking to Phil and the Sasquatch Rosin Press crew here in, I bet you, under a minute. In the meantime,
This is exciting.
good stuff happening. E420K hashing. Here comes those headphones. Oh, there we go. Snap.
I remember like right before you guys were
I admire anybody who could stand up twice at that ceremony in 2 days in a row.
Dude, the Cannabis Cup used to be 5 days in a row, Indra, and I would stand for 15 hours a day.
Yeah, I went to SIGGRAPH in 1986 because myself and my partner wrote a computer program, and SIGGRAPH was a really crazy event too, and we did stand up for 5 days, but not when I'm 70.
Okay, Tony's got his mic. We just have to unmute him there. There he is.
Damn.
What's up, Phil? Good to see you, dude. Good to see you.
Great to see you.
You can hear us?
Yeah, the V2 looks great.
Yeah, let's. Oh yeah, dude. Turn this camera around, and then we can talk while we show them. You and I can talk like commentary. All right. So why don't you take them through like what's kind of new? Because I showed them that first and foremost this heat thing. You want Matt do it?
I think Matt will feel better.
All right. Cool.
His creation.
Why don't you talk about who Matt is?
Matt. So basically, Matt is my cousin here. Basically,
what's up,
Matt? This thing. We put a lot of ideas together, and we just put this bad boy together.
All right, let's pass in the headphones. Yeah, exactly. And then we'll get to work. I got some serious
What's up,
stuff
Matt?
to press out.
Welcome to Hash Church, bro.
Good to see you, bro. I can't see you, but good to hear you, I guess.
Yeah, fuck straight up, dude. The unit looks beautiful.
Yeah, so let's go over a few things for the people in Hash Church that are listening. So like one most important thing that like people over they don't understand is look where he's got his PSI on this one.
80.
With the 2.0, actually, we set this one to about $110, $120.
So this is the $110, $120 now.
All right.
The foot pedal itself, is an actual regulator. So if you had it set to 200, the foot pedal is going to regulate it down to 110. And
so show them how that foot pedal works.
Very cool.
So he gets the control, releases it to watch. So he's releasing it with the foot now. See that?
That's a must.
It's a must, dude. Hands free. Comes down and releases it with his foot. Look how smooth that is.
Yep. I would also have that thing lowered into the floor.
Right?
Fucking A.
So there's one upgrade. And then let's talk about this new design. What happened here?
So basically, we made a way stronger frame for those who have exceeded their PSI that we recommend. Some people have bent their frames, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was one of those guys.
Yeah, and so we made a much stronger frame that is never gonna bend. You can literally stand on this foot pedal fucking until it maxes out completely and nothing will happen.
So you could just go continue as heavy as you want now.
And say your jack went bad, everything's replaceable in here with heated plates. Say you had an issue with your electrical, We went with a separated box so that we can replace.
Yeah, not only that, I just want to say it's pretty cool. You guys build your own boxes now, right? This whole wood thing.
Yeah, and also, yeah, Turfworks is a second.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Can you turn your camera sideways to give us a wider view? Or oh no, it's yeah. There we go. Boom. Boom. That's full. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Okay, so and we got. And then, all right. So let's talk about the temps too. So there's something else I saw you guys doing. 1 ounce bags, right?
Yeah, we have 1 ounce bags.
So we got a pound of this C. Chiquita, if you will.
Different techs where they're 3 fucking quarter pounds, 3 fucking 2 ounces, and they're making that happen in one press.
That's serious. So when you get I like to look at it when you think about grams per minute. You know what I mean, or grams per hour. Yeah. You get like 2 of these set up. You're able to do like an ounce every 4 minutes.
With 4 people, we process 5 pounds in 6 hours from fucking start to finish, packing bags of complete like
how many was that?
Butter in 6 hours.
6 hours. How many pounds?
5 pounds.
And how many of these?
2 machines, 4 people.
There we go.
1 pound of rosin. And that was fucking around, bro.
1 pound of rosin.
Fucking around at the end of the workday. So it's like,
dude, I'm stoked.
So these guys
are you guys killing it.
So these guys are hard working.
Really come out and see it.
Yeah. So check it out. We could do this. Let's turn this camera around. And then
I'm gonna put this on him.
No. You two go like this.
There we go.
There you go. You hold this camera out like this. You go sideways like that.
Perfect.
Bam. So now you guys just there you go. I'm gonna get some things set up.
Fuck, I look high as fuck on here.
You doing some pressing right now?
Sasquatch representing. Check this shit out. Booyah. Got mine right there. Never far, never far. I'll tell you though, that V2 is looking sweet.
Yeah, man, fucking, we put a little more time and thought into this one.
Yeah, dude, I think you guys are gonna have good success with that one. I tell everyone that asks me, dude, they look so smooth and buttery.
I can't even, the phone's like not even letting me do it. Yeah, anyways.
I can see it.
Yeah, we put, a little more time and thought into it to try to,
A lot of learning from the first little beta, going through that.
Everyone's questions we had to fucking fulfill,
Yeah.
Well,
like I said, I think it's great to see you guys blowing up the way you are. Sasquatch is to me, it's the premier name in rosin pressing, and for you guys to be able to get it up to an industrial level where people can start producing, pounds of rosin, this is just a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Fuck, that's what we live for right now. Teaching the rosin tech.
It's a whole new level coming from the hair straightener to the t-shirt press to the pneumatic 20 tons and putting out.
Dude, I can't wait till you guys are producing one the size of a fucking small garage.
Talk about it every day.
And pressing out like 100 gallons at a time or something.
Well, one thing I'd like to add.
Fine line.
Just
one thing I'd like to add.
5-gallon drums.
These guys' customer service as well is fucking first class, #1.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks for putting up with us, honestly. Fuck.
Hey,
we still got to have that video chat.
Yeah, you bet. We're gonna, buddy, for sure. Thank you for what you guys have done for us, man. You guys have helped us out, been right on point with everything. It's great.
I'm still on the hair straightener. I think it's time to step up. I'm gonna need a Sasquatch now. It's awesome, guys. I love it. That's so awesome. Great.
Perfect, dude.
Just probably look at you all funny buying all those hair straighteners.
Dude, hair straightener sales went through the roof, man. Hair straightener sales went through the roof for a while there.
She's got stocks on that, yeah. And the parchment paper business.
I'll tell you. Well, I'll never forget you guys coming on Hash Church the first time, and that's when the first time I ever heard you know, the idea of a machine getting built. And man, it didn't take long for you guys and other people to get on the ball and start really pushing this thing to the next level, which is just a wonderful thing. Fucking solventless oil. I mean, I never smoked oil before Rosin came out.
Yeah, it was like, it was hard to find to be the melts, you know, and it's like, I mean, nowadays it's pretty much oil, pure oil coming off this hash refining. But yeah, I mean, that's a rosin. It's your common standard solventless oil. That's what they have in the market.
So here's a question for you. Do you still like smoking your 6-star bubble, or will you even press that into rosin?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what I say on that is my favorite smoke would be like ice wax, along right up there with like certain flower rosins. And then my number one would be taking some 6-star and pressing that into rosin. That's the number one smoke right there.
There we go. Nice.
That double refined, top of the line, cream of the crop. Just, man. You press like a gram of 6-star, you pull like a 90 to 95% return.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just amazing. It's ridiculous.
The best high, I think, is the wash.
It's strong for sure. I still love myself some great 6-star, but I had some crazy 6-star dry sift and wet wash pressed into oil, and it was pretty psychotic.
Yeah.
Yep. I loved it when it like butters up and it's ready to rock.
I still prefer to smoke the melts as they are, though. I'd just rather press out the 4 or 5-star.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of work to get those 6-star just pure oil.
Oh, and there's just never enough of it, let's be honest. There's never enough of it, that is for sure.
Oh, yeah, to get you there.
You guys getting ready to squish some bud or what?
Yeah. Let me see what's up with Tony. We'll get some bags packed, and I'll figure it out. I'll pass over to Tony, and I'll pack some bags.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to seeing this machine in action. Be pretty fun. There's the Harborside booth. Boom. Magnolia, Oakland, right across the street.
It's got to be time for a bong rep, isn't it?
It's always time. There's the Dank Duchess. Or at least...
bong rip.
Yep, there she is, giving Phil a hug.
Doesn't look as crowded as it was yesterday. Yesterday it was...
I think it's still early. There's Michael Manning.
Well, by 12 o'clock yesterday, it was wall-to-wall people.
Really? Well, one day, Indra, I'll make it out there. I'm glad you guys made it out. It made me happy that you met up with Etienne, Todd, and all those guys. That's really cool.
Yeah, listen. Finding each other was a trip, but once we met up, once we did meet up, we had a good time. It was. You could hardly walk around the place. There were so many people there, Bubba. You know, it reminded me of the Maha Kumbh Mela and a few other things because it was just wall to wall. I mean, if you wanted to turn around to go against the crowd, you were just SOL. You know? Yeah,
the Maha Kumbh Mela, the closer you got to the Ganges, the crazier it was. And you had to like walk up into the foothills. There was a Shivite temple right above Haridwar there. And you could go way up there, and then it kind of got more sparse. You know, it wasn't quite as like packed up there, but there was fucking wild monkeys up there too, and you had to be careful. So,
yeah, the monkeys aren't always bad in India. It depends.
No, this particular ashram just had one prick monkey. They painted his face red to let everyone know he was the dick monkey, but. He would chase people and he would cause commotion and calamity. So I would go up there and hang out, but I'm not gonna lie, I did get chased by that fucking monkey. And there's something terrifying about being chased by a monkey, especially.
There's nowhere you can go.
Well, not only that, it's like the shit that's probably in its mouth while it's biting you, and they have big fangs. I don't know what kind of monkey it was. It was the classic Indian, kind of looks like a mixture between a baboon and the smaller. You know, it's kind of a little guy, but he was a bit of a bigger one. And they run so fast. All I know is that all the Babas who were up there just sitting on the rocks, just relaxing, they all started running fucking wicked fast too, which I have to say is the craziest thing to see, running down a mountain from an ashram, getting followed by a mad ass dickhole monkey, while the sadhus all around you are popping up in their loincloths and tridents and running down the hill with me. I fucking swear my knees were going like as high as my shoulders. I was not going to be the one that monkey got a hold of. Yeah, he just needed a puff, all right. Telling you, listen, monkeys freak me out. Those things will fuck you up.
I regularly carried a one of those little electric zappers. What do you call it?
Oh yeah, taser.
Taser. When I was in India, because occasionally you run into monkeys who think you are the monkey, they're the tourist.
I'm telling you,
take your stuff,
dude.
I mean, they would take your bags apart. Anyway, what's really funny is one attacked my wife at the time. And didn't attack her, but she had some bananas in a bag, and he took the bag away from her, and then he took the bananas. So I zapped him with the laser. And watching him twitch on the ground, all the other monkeys gathered around him. They're like, what is wrong with him? And then I finally let up on it, and I jerked the wires out, and like nothing happened. He jumped up and grabbed the bag and the bananas, and boom, he was gone.
Yeah, they get pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that dab bar they have set up. That's looking quite proper. Tony's on mute, but
you couldn't get near him yesterday. His dab bar had like 20, 25, 30 people in line. I didn't even bother him because he was so...
He's got to turn that camera sideways, though. I have a hard time watching people film with cell phones upright just because it makes this weird little... There we go. Look at that. Full screen. Boom!
Sorry, dude. I got high and I put my headphones on like weird. What's wrong with them?
Looks perfect now.
I don't even know what's wrong with them. Hold on a second. Did your brother grow this herb? All right, hold on a second. This is what a small story. Watch this.
Small world story.
All right. So
welcome to Hash Church.
Hey, what's up?
You're live, buddy.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Hey, hello, everybody. You're welcome.
Did you hear him?
I heard him say welcome to Hash.
Yeah, I said, hey, what's up? Welcome. You're going to tell the story about what a small world it is and how his brother grew some herb.
Oh, yeah. He started working for Utopia Farms after he got a little interview from Microsoft, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, what's up? Looking for this hash. Check it out. And I was like, where are they? Like,
You got to put the phone closer to his mouth, Tony, so we can hear him.
He's right here. Let's see here. Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear you louder. There, I can hear him a bit.
All right, cool. Yeah, so all of a sudden everybody's telling me they're pressing out some banana from Utopia Farms. I'm like, really? So I walked over there, like, oh, your brother grew it. And check out what small
Cool.
So,
He's super excited. I didn't hear what he said because it's so loud here.
Sorry.
But I can tell you, he works at Harborside in the genetics department. And basically his brother works over at Utopia Farms. And we happened to link up. He kept showing me this Chiquita banana. So Jesse over there was like, hey, I want to work with you guys. The Bubbleman brand was doing like some non-solvent stuff and wanted to do our solvent saps and turp oils and stuff. So we're featuring his brother's Chiquita banana. And it's wait till you see it.
everybody. I'm part of your world now, too.
What's up?
Just say hello to everybody.
Yeah, he's coming in super quiet, Tony. You're coming in much louder, but I heard what he said. Hello to everybody and whatnot.
I think we're good.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna show him what it looks like in about 2 seconds here. All right, let me see something. It's getting a little louder. I got one more person up here. This is Joe, real quick, before this herb comes. I can see the herb showing up.
What's going on? Gold Drop in the house.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, dude, it's Bubble Man.
Hey Bubble Man, yeah, I recognize your voice.
Right
Just
on,
out
right
here, Emerald Cup and some cool effects.
Slaying the dragon with Tony.
Yeah, attempted to. I let the crew do it at this point. Like,
Yeah, look at their crew. Let's walk over here. Gold Drop's running a pretty good got everything like out as a patient. Sign up.
That's weird.
Bars,
we got menu,
inventory. It's like a mini dispensary, all in one.
Pop-up shop.
Pop-up shop.
Nice.
So yeah, we're swagging people out with we got sweaters and t-shirts and.
So where's the cookies and cream and the lemon tree blue drop?
The cards?
Yeah.
See, lemon tree and the cookies and cream.
Those are two.
So we're out of the lemon tree that sold out yesterday. We're trying to get some more.
But you still have one for me, right?
Well, lemon tree. The guys from Lemon Tree are gonna bring us some of their parts.
Oh my
so that
God.
we can get a little.
Listen to me, Bubble Man. So don't feel bad that you're missing it. Like even my guy right next door to me can't even keep it in stock long. If I had one cart and it was delicious, and then I had the cookies and cream.
I mean, I keep mine close to the heart here.
Yeah.
It really is like taking a dry pool on the flour. Just clean oil.
I'll take a terp dip to that.
This was like 18%.
As far as
the lemon tree
content,
yeah.
It was like 13 or 14%.
Yeah, most people don't know. The only dilute is the Blue River terps. This is the cookies and cream. You know it when it has the little blue star on, the little blue flower on it. I found the cookies and cream really good.
Cookies and cream is so good. It's really creamy. I mean, I took some of our flour over to Mike at Exotic Genetics, and he said it reminded him a lot in structure and look of his cut and flavor of his buddy's cut. So I took that as a great compliment, and that was one of our entries.
Do you find that one to be like really tasty and really strong, or really tasty and so strong?
Really tasty. I wouldn't say that it's really strong, but it has a really deep calming effect. So if you're kind of just sitting down already, you're more gonna melt, but it's not anything you can't power through. So it's not gonna. Yeah. It's not an elephant tranquilizer.
Because the first time I had it was in the dry sift that Cuban made, and the taste was so good, but I could smoke that whole gram like no problem.
Here, hold this. Hold this.
I would have to agree.
Just hold it down like this. See if I can get this.
Whereas, like the first time I took a hit of Skunk Man's dry sift, I thought I was gonna fall off his couch. Oh, that looks beautiful.
This cookies and cream though, the one that you had in Jamaica, I would say it's gotten cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. I mean, this is.
Well, did you see the photographs I took of the one from Jamaica?
I did. I was right next to it.
It certainly couldn't get any cleaner than that.
Yeah, that's that Cuban tech.
I would say this is like flawless victory.
Yeah.
Nice.
Flawless victory. Yeah.
That's what I like.
So it's in my pocket. So I have cookies and cream. Here, let's walk over here. I have cookies and cream on my in my pen and cookies and cream in my pocket. And okay, look what we got going on over here.
We got ounce bags.
1 ounce bags, baby.
Them squash bags.
Half ounce bags.
2x9s.
2x9s. 2x9s. Let's see that bud. We just, that's his brother. It's a small world, right? Maybe for us, maybe everyone else watching doesn't think it's small world. So we got some smalls.
Yeah, it's untrimmed.
Untrimmed smalls
from Utopia.
Damn, that smells good.
Absolutely.
Nice little nuggets.
Chiquita banana.
I got some of the butter. I'll show you too. That.
Oh, you guys pull that out. Show some stuff that we pressed earlier. So for some that don't know, this is OG Bear. So if you keep seeing me tagging him, this is my homie that's partners at Blue River and actually presses quite a bit of the hash for the Bubble Man brand. So this is
205.
This is so we did. This is at 205 degrees
for 25 seconds.
For 25.
What was the return?
Hold on, we're gonna put the headphones on, OG. So you just gotta. So you're gonna hear Bubble Man in your ear.
All right.
So what was the return on that press?
It was the untrimmed smalls. I think it was above like 20%.
Very nice.
And it was all around that with all the same temperatures, even if it varied. Maybe a little bit more if I went to 220, but it all instant butter. So even if you went real low for like a long period of time, like you hear everybody doing the 165 to 175.
So show
the
another
color
temperature.
was lighter, but I got
Does this get? We did the same thing you did the other day when you were doing this on Facebook. So.
And then that's just, you can see it curing out. That was like 210, 220.
This is 210 and 220. You'll see where it gets. It almost has like a. It's just interesting to see the texture. The one that was like really low was really nice.
And are you guys finding when you hit that at a higher temperature for a shorter press that it comes out more shattery or pull and snap?
Yeah, you know, not the banana. The banana is like one of those ones. Yeah,
Auto
everybody
butter?
that has the different cultivars. Auto butter.
Look at this. We had Nate over here earlier. Now Crockett's fire.
What's up, Crockett?
Watching you squish some rosin here.
Yeah, dude.
Did you bring us something to squish? Yeah, well, I don't know. No.
Bubble Man says, "What's up?" Here, you see the headsets. Yeah.
Very nice. You guys are doing it up over there.
That's awesome.
Good to see you, Crockett.
All right. Good to see you back at Tony's.
Welcome to Hash Church, bro.
Right on.
You're standing with the good people right there, man. You're standing with the good people. They're about to get squishing.
I know. I was walking by, and all of a sudden, I smelling good stuff.
Here, I'm going to hand him some of the Chiquita banana. So what we're going to do is press out this pound of smalls. This Chiquita banana. This is C banana. I don't want anyone to get sued anymore. Open that up. See what you're. Let's do this. Open this up. Here, hold that tight.
You were just asking about the terpenes the other day, Crockett, and now they're in your hand.
Let's see the finger. Now rub that in between your thumb and your finger, and then that's how you want to kind of get the nice smell.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's one of the best terpenes I've ever seen.
That's because he hasn't
Get
run
better
your
burgers.
shit yet, Crockett. That's gonna happen soon.
I hope so.
Trust me.
Yeah. So why don't you come over here? I'll give you a special dance. Come here. We're gonna do something. We're gonna do what we did live yesterday.
I got like I don't know, I'd say 12 to 14 grams in here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we hear you perfect, bro.
Can you hear me?
Perfectly, 12 to 15 grams.
12 to 14, something around there.
All right. He's gonna while he preps this out. I'm gonna get some.
Dude. How about that pull-out table drawer? That's so nice.
Yeah, a little custom stand, huh?
Come on, bro. You're killing me. You see the sketch my shit's sitting on right now?
I do. That's why when I came to your house, I was like, I can't believe you're you didn't get the frame, and you're like, what are you talking about? I was like, the whole thing. And you're like,
I'm on it. I'm on it.
So look at this.
I like the style.
So what temperature are we at? We're at a little hotter. Okay, 220.
Magnets? No?
I have a entry for you. No. There's only one of these left.
Oh shit. This oil is gonna come out so nice.
About 5-second preheat.
He's doing a 5-second preheat.
Yep. I think the preheat is a very good idea with both hash and flour. Get that resin ready. Clickety click.
So if you want to get the California air with the auto drain, it's
Here
very
she comes.
quiet compressor.
Here she comes.
Yeah, this is the one sucks.
Hello.
And you gotta like have a little thing to like move it off. Oh, so like the oil just pass the powder part. Yeah.
Whoa, here she comes.
Booyah.
That's nice.
When it butters like that, it's so thick. Like it doesn't look like it's a lot, but that shit always.
Oh,
it
no.
always weighs
Till you
up so
collect
much.
it.
Smells like. Damn,
Now let's collect that. And then we're gonna chirp that.
Oh my god.
It's like people think like, oh,
Whoa, here she comes.
Dude, you got the booth happening right there.
Come on now. Come on now. And then look, we got the last year's trophy with the CBD dabs. Mix that up good. It's been sitting like in the cold.
Mix that up good. I'm enjoying being at the Emerald Cup right now, Tony. I'm not gonna lie.
Right? There's a little live hash church going. There's not 2,000 people watching, don't worry.
You'll
So
be
anyway,
fine.
that's last year's winner. Is we'll have to rotate this. I'll have to give this to you for like a year. And we're smoking this year's entry and last year's trophy. Only non-solvent through this as well. It's a gray. All right, so that's what I'm going to get Crockett a dab of. I'm going to give you a dab of what we entered. Let's have him open that up. That was like
should have got a bunch of bags packed prior.
Open that up, he says.
These guys, this guy right here, he can help you. He's used to packing bags.
Oh yeah. I mean, it all depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
Bag packer. He just wants
Hey.
to squish that entire pound, that's all.
This is my buddy from Rolling Hill Farms back here too.
This is your
You
press,
can
by the way.
take
I'm
him
gonna
to
leave
the
it here.
Jack Frost. Take him
Oh,
to
Jack Frost.
Strawberry banana goo cross. Might have to pack some bags.
How pretty is it?
All right, let's bring that over here. Select that.
Dude, it's you can
Smell
do
that?
it. You can make it really.
So this is our entry.
175,
This is the
180,
solventless CBD set. It's in a vial. Smells really good.
It's never a bad thing.
I want you to try it because most CBD stuff has got that cherry, and this is lemon, pine, kind of fuel. Really different. Let's smoke it. Smoke
Do
it.
you have an empty jar for carpet having? It
No.
doesn't have a sticker on it? Yes.
You
He
can take the
does.
sticker off.
Yeah, he does.
I
He
do.
has a box full.
There we go. You guys got some D-nails going there?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff here. We could get them right in here.
I'll step out of the way.
We're actually, just so you know, for the people that waited on me yesterday, I'm waiting in my own booth in my own line. Just so everyone is clear out there.
Yeah, and I'm waiting behind
And
him
he-
in his own line.
Oh, that's funny shit.
Well, when you have the one rig that you want to hit off of, you know. In the meantime, though, we can take here while we're bored, while we're waiting for the CBD rig to come up. Let's get some strawberry banana goo. Open that up. There's a rig ready to go right there. This is some from Rolling Hills. It's just like super butter. Can we get a zap from my man here? There we go. Just while you're bored, waiting for the CBD. Yeah.
Use this one, brother. This one doesn't make
That's it.
Thank you.
Like that? All right.
This one ain't been pressing yet. So
And let's fire that up.
well, I know I got like 10 grams of extra. Yeah, that was just it. Yes, sir. Please.
Where's your tequila?
The timer? It's in a new case with new plastics. Strawberry banana good. Pretty good.
You almost got it as good as my strawberry banana.
Yeah, just cross with the goo. It's crossed with the old
Oh,
school
is it
goo.
the goo?
Yeah, so that's kind of the unique difference. You know, but we took it from your seed.
That tastes really good.
Pretty good, right? And then, so this is hot? Oh, yeah, I'm going to give them this. Now we're going to do the CBD dab. Okay, hold on to this for me. It's not here. And then right here. So this is a discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of, took a long time. The flour oil?
You know, Bubble Man, yesterday, there was a fellow I met in one of the lines who was telling me to come out to his van afterwards. And so he wanted to show me something. When I went out there, he had set up in his van a rolling bench press. And the press rolled and the oil squirted out of the catch thing. And it just blew my mind. He just had this like foot-long thing that he packed up, introduced it in front of the press, and then oil just started pissing out of it at the backside. I asked him why he wasn't in showing it, and he says he couldn't get a booth in time. But it looked to me like the wave of the pressing future for sure.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot happening in the world of pressing. People are focused on it right now, and yeah, dude, thumbs up. It's nice to see people focused on the concentrates, on wet washing, on making oil, on pressing oil, on dry sifting. It's just great. It makes me happy to see people focused on all of these different aspects of the plant. That luckily we're able to do these things because cannabis is so broad in its abilities.
I like the idea of a rotary press because then you could actually do continuous operation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
See what I'm
real.
doing here?
What are you doing? Terp dipping?
Giving them some strawberry banana good. Just saturated in some strawberry banana. These guys
It wasn't a photo. It was set up in his van, and I watched it work. I want one.
Yeah, firsthand is always nice when you can see things work firsthand. I'm going to mute that because the background noise is so loud, but we'll unmute them again soon. We'll watch their camera for now as Tony's cleaning out the dabs there. I see the clear dome dab mat under the pipe. Clear domes for everyone. Right, Sam?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Man, there's some people standing around there. It's like, you probably can't get the dabs in the people fast enough.
He sure couldn't yesterday, I'll tell you that.
Dude, every Cannabis Cup was basically from the start to the end. It was no matter what, no matter how many people I dabbed out. At the end of it, I was always disappointing someone when I said, I'm leaving now, I have to go. I've been here 10 hours. I'm going to eat food. And there'd still be people. It's like, what can you do?
They had that handled really well at the Cannabis Cup. The food was outside of the 215 area, so you had to fucking leave to go get something to eat.
When are bubbles not clear? Well, they're not clear when smoke or vapor fills up and makes it so they're not clear. You can't see through them anymore. It does happen. Tony's really digging in there. Might have to smash the glass, Tony. Just throw the whole thing into the fucking... That's what we need. We need quartz vials that you just throw right into the fucking, on the nail. They're like little inserts. It's like, yeah, just screw it right into the D nail. It works like that. Just like grams at a time. I got you muted right now, Tony. Let me unmute you because I see you're talking.
Hey, Mark, I'd like to ask a question about those bags. What's the micron size on them?
The bags that they're filling with herb to squish?
Yeah.
I've seen 25, 32, 73, 90, 45. They're all sorts of different sizes. I mean,
Well,
to me, go ahead.
Here's my question. Since you're pressing it to get the oil out of it and not the rest of the particulate matter and so forth, why not use 1 micron bags to eliminate all the rest of the crap and just come up with a very pure oil? Just maybe someone knows the answer and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure you could even go further and fucking suck it through a Buckner funnel or something. But I guess There's not that much difference in the micron sizes, I guess. Maybe more so with the hash. I don't know. It just seems like the oil turns to liquid and the size of the hole that it squishes out doesn't seem to be as big of an issue. Like you don't really get contaminant that's visible. If there is contaminant, it's liquid contaminant that's in the oil. And at that point, I suspect it would go through, you know, a 10 or a 5 or a 20 or a 30, all pretty equal.
Well, I was talking to one guy and I saw the he had a microscope and they were looking at the oil after it comes out for particulate matter.
Oh, yeah.
There was a fair amount in it, and I was wondering at that moment, gee, if it was a 1 micron bag, the oil wouldn't be able to act as a transporter to bring some of that trash stuff over with it when it's being squeezed. Anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, I photographed most of my rosin with a very powerful macro lens, and it's always just like gold and clean. I mean, the tiny bits of I get 0 contaminant from hash because I put it in screens, and 0. I've never seen contaminant from a 90 to a 25 micron. With flour, I've seen contaminant. It's usually just if I don't use a screen and I press the flour, and then just a few little, maybe a pistolate hair or a few other little things might contaminate it, which I usually go through with my dabber and just pull those little pieces out. That's what I've been doing myself, but it's fun to play around. You should just get a little press and start playing around. You'll see firsthand the way you can change things. And
I got an email from a Chinese company yesterday.
You mentioned that.
They make a very nice press, and they offered it to me for $246 a copy, plus $25 freight. And I was thinking I might order 25 of these, and then dump it on the market for $256 each, so that everybody could get their hands on a squisher. Because I wouldn't mind having one myself, to tell you the truth. All the different rosins that I smoked yesterday. At one point in time, I had to go sit on the couch and wait for a few minutes before I was feeling like I was able to get up and move around, because I was so freaking high.
I can imagine people are getting mad high at the Emerald Cup.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys there near the end that had I don't remember exactly what the name of it was because I was so high, but they were turning Todd and the 10 and 9 onto dabs. And this stuff was just literally blowing my mind. It was so good. The smell was so good. The high was an incredible buzz. And they just kept dabbing us until pretty soon I could hardly. I was sitting in a concrete seat on a bleacher, but I was like you, ready to fall off Sam's couch after a few of those.
That's hilarious. Who did we just lose? Was that Tony? Yes, Tony bumped out. Well, that was pretty fun, having a little bit of the Emerald Cup nonetheless. I'm feeling, I don't know, I'm feeling like maybe Hash Church is heading towards the end of the day here today. What are you guys feeling over there?
Hey, you know what? Spent the day this morning pounding snow off trees. There's lots of work to do in the yard. It's really cool to see the Sasquatch growing there. And I'm not always up to you guys. We always love to talk about this plant. Hash.
I'm definitely down for calling it a day. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go play with my family and have fun. So I will say thank you to everyone for coming out. Tony for sharing the Emerald Cup vision with us, their point of view, and meeting all the cool people, Crockett and Gold Drop and all those Soil Grown and his Rosin Press Sasquatch crew. Big thanks to D420K for sifting the whole day away here in the room. Always loving that. Skunkman Sam and Indra, definitely hope you're feeling better. Your wife was in the chat earlier telling us to send good vibes because you were in rough shape, I guess, from yesterday's all that walking. And yeah, Mark Scaldone, give thanks. Everybody, Todd, Etienne, Mel Frank for showing up today. And I don't know. I think we will see you next week, as it is not yet Christmas, but I'm definitely going to have to figure out this Christmas Hash Church thing. I don't know what to do yet, but in the meantime, have an amazing...
Have it on Saturday.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what happens. I got all sorts of different friends.
Christmas Eve.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard with kids, but please, everyone, have a wonderful week. Tomorrow's Monday. Let it be a good Monday, and may the full melt bless your bowl sooner than later. Peace out, everybody.